nom sound. Uh, all right, I'm just gonna wait for the cue for someone to say that we're completely live. Oh, there we are. Okay. Yeah, we're live. Hello. Hello, everybody out there. Oh dear, hang on. I had the stream open in a different
Oh,
tab and it was giving me feedback for a second. Hello, everybody. I am Jeschke. That's how you say it. It's Jeschke, and I am your hungry host, so to speak, for the stream that we're doing today. It's just a little Vore celebration sort of stream. We're gonna raise some money and hang out, watch some people draw, and yeah. With me right now for the moment, we've got Dark Ammo Tiger, or just Ammo.
hello.
Hello. And uh yeah, a little later on we're gonna have some interviews, got a whole bunch of other stuff. Harry, were we gonna have like people's yeah, we're gonna have HTF Cuddles, their art stream. We're gonna be rehosting that while we hang out. Um and then maybe Humbug at some point, I'm not sure. But yes, hello to all you people out there. Yes, there's gonna be Vore. There's gonna be the horrible, horrible Vore. 2020 is a cursed year, and that is why we have a Vore Day celebration stream. I'm kidding. Ah, for those of you who don't know and don't know what Vore is, I sure you better be 18 plus. Get out of here if you're not. Seriously. Um, but yeah, Vore is a fetish I've been involved in for a very long time. I watched the fan base grow kind of crazily over the past while. Um, yeah, it's a little crazy. Oh yeah, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeschke. I do audio stuff sometimes. I'm kind of lazy, but I know a lot of other art people that are also lazy. I make sounds for animations. Sometimes I make music. Um, and I hang around and post hornivore things on Twitter all the time. I've been in the fandom for like heck. It's definitely more than 10 years at this point now. Um yeah, oof. I I think I first started talking with people actually 10 years ago, back in 2010, back when like the world was completely different. It felt like I was in college and I was like, I'm going to be brave and talk to some people. And, now it's 10 years later and here we are. I'm just sort of running through the interview questions. I'm going to be asking some other people. I first got into Vore when I it was a lot of old cartoons, and I swear we're probably gonna be talking with Humbug for a while about that later. Just some old cartoons that had it come up, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" And I can remember some instances, like there was the Brothers Grimm movie. There was a bit in Tony Hawk 4 where there were hippos that would just open their mouths, and I was like, I had no idea what was going on. And then later on, I found out it was an actual fetish after I'd Googled like anaconda swallowing X for like the 20th time, and I found one of the now defunct Vore websites. And yeah, that's a whole topic to get into. There used to be so many Vore websites out there that just don't really exist anymore. Now there's just a few gallery sites, and that's sort of it. I can remember there's some sites that still exist right now where, there would be someone who would be uploading MP4s of Vore scenes from media or whatnot. Or there was like a Freaky's Junk Pile, which was just, again, like a video hosting place and like one or two art gallery sites. But now Ekka's Portal kind of just takes over everything. And a lot of furry people migrated and joined for Affinity. Um, yeah. Oh God, Timber, what are you doing? I just saw thank you to the people that have donated so far, by the way. I saw right before we started that anonymous person donated $20, and now we have Timber donating $80, and we've already hit our goal. So, you know, thank you. Uh I'd ask for a round of applause, but I'm here and I'm with ammo right now, and that's sort of it. Uh yeah, but by the way, Ammo, I don't mean to be talking over you. You can chime in if you want.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm just a little shy.
Yeah, no worries. I sort of just like launched into radio mode and immediately started like talking about everything. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm burning through my conversation topics already. Yes. But
But
yeah,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'll just give you a quick introduction. This is Ammo. They run a Discord community that is all about, I believe, Cock4 and CockTF.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and it's got 2K members, I believe, if my notes are
Almost.
right.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Herrick, who is hosting us today, pulled them in, and yeah, we're just gonna hang out and chat and all that. Wait, yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, we hit our goal. Jeez. And I
And
think a $40 donation came in, but I don't have the ticker or anything.
yeah, I don't
Um,
think it's updated yet.
well, it's just got the top donation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right.
Uh, uh, hang on. Uh, I'm just typing to Herrick. If you could tell us who donates so we can thank them. Cool. But yeah. Wow, okay, I guess the stream's done now. We can just like close up shop. Like, thanks everybody for coming.
Yeah,
We're done.
yeah. Thank you all for coming. We hit our goal, and yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Thanks for the money. Goodbye. Yeah. But yes, so thank you to Leaf and Humbug. You know, just because we're terrible people online doesn't mean we're terrible people offline. Yes, that is true. You know,
Oh, people are asking for the Discord link. I don't know if I'm going to be banned if I post it in the chat here. Herrick, do you want to post the invite link into the stream chat there?
yeah, or is there a place where people can find the link? Like, is there an X topic or?
Hold
Oh,
on. I believe if yeah, you can post that link in there. But I also believe if you search up Cog for Discord, Cog for Den Discord server,
yeah, or
it's like the second, yeah, like the first or second result on Google. So,
yeah, or like Carrick said, there's discordvore.info
oh
that
yes, yes,
has a ton of chats actually. Cool.
yeah.
Oh, Herrick, are you controlling the volume of everybody? They're saying Ammo's mic is quiet.
Oh, uh,
Yeah, Herrick isn't talking, by the way. It's just me and Ammo.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if I can turn up my microphone, so Haruki, you'd have to do the honors there.
I could also turn myself down or just not talk really loudly, but that's a little hard. And
Oh, hey,
like
Crush is in chat.
I'm like slowly building into a voice actor maybe, so I'm getting used to just like talking very loudly. Oh, don't worry, Chiara. Like I'm not mature at all. Don't worry about it. I'm a dummy. Like, yeah. Oh well. Uh oh god. Anyway, hi Crunchy, by the way. And hello to everybody that's joining in with us. Looks like we got 30 people, which is pretty cool. Um, where are we voicing? I'm voicing in a luxury apartment in the fair city of uh Toronto. It's not actually Toronto. I would love to have an apartment in Toronto by right about now. Um, but yes, I'm seated on wonderful pillows and not just like an office chair in the middle of a room surrounded by cat things. Yeah, that's where I'm at right about now. Yeah, MFF, the last con before everything started shutting down. At least on my end.
Jeez, I haven't even been to any cons. Not yet,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah,
Hope
heck, that
to.
that makes me wonder because something that was put down as a possible thing to talk about was SizeCon. And that's something I've never looked into before, but it kind of begs the question if well, like, oh, what if Vore becomes so much of a thing that we have a convention for that? That would um that would be something. I don't know. I'd do a panel there at least. Be like, here's how you make goopy noises, and then I'd like bring in a pumpkin and carve it up and be like, here, squish this. There you go.
It can either go horribly right or horribly wrong. Let's hope. Let's hope it's the former.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. Like, furry conventions probably started off pretty damn small too. But I believe I'm gonna look up SizeCon for a sec to see like what their size was last year. If I can find that. But they had a whole virtual convention this year, so it's like it's definitely a thing, and there's definitely a good bit of crossover. I wish I knew more about that. But yeah. Yeah, of course there's all the jokes, VorCon, there'll be there will be the people that attend and then there will be the buffet. I'm immediately thinking, I'm like, what should I be? Oh boy, probably the buffet. But you
Yeah,
never know.
that seems to be the general pick for most people. Most people tend to lean towards the buffet part in this community. I have noticed.
Yeah. Hey, right. Wervla, this is technically a virtual con of a sort. You're all sitting in here at this panel where we're just like, hey, what's up? We're gonna watch some art and talk some stuff. Yeah. Uh, boy, like I have to crack my neck. By the way, I feel like I should just say, like, just because we've hit our goal doesn't mean you can't keep donating. Not that I want to come off as greedy or anything, but I'm just like, heck, like, I know we hit our goal, but why not just bring in some more money?
Yeah,
It's all
Herrick,
going to,
if you want to raise the goal there, buddy,
yeah,
I'm kidding, of course, but
why not? I mean, I honestly had no idea how many people would come out for this or how many people would be already in a belly for today. It's a little hard to determine. It's like, oh, let's do a stream like near the end of the afternoon and towards the evening, and I'm just like, man, you there's going to be a lot of streams, sure, but there's also going to be a lot of people that are already eaten at that point. Like, I don't know, but we've got 30 of you, so that's 30 of you that either ate somebody or have a phone in a belly. And hey, everybody that's coming in, like I see Shariko, and like I see some other people that I don't recognize, but part of the fun about this whole day is just realizing how much bigger the Vore community has been. That like I usually dwell in the furry side of things, but in this case it's just like, oh wow, there's SizeCon. Oh wow, there's like all these humans out there, and like there's entire Discord servers I've never heard of that have like 2,000 people in them and all that sort of thing. It's just like, ah, dang, this place has really grown.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, hello there, Crunchy. By the way,
Hi. Surprise.
surprise, we have a third person now.
Hello. I like just kind of fucking being around. That's what
Yeah,
I do.
I hope you're ready for an interview because I've got questions lined up for everybody.
Oh, fuck, great. Oh, I love interviews. I've never done. I don't think I've ever done. Oh, I have done one once. I did a performance at my school, and they interviewed me after that, and that was really awkward because I've never done one before that. So
Yeah,
that
it's
was
okay. Like most of the questions that I ask, I feel like they're like the most general questions that you usually get asked by anybody when you're first meeting them. Like, hey, what's your favorite kind of Vore? And it's like everybody gets asked that at some point or another.
yeah, yeah, it's true. Um, yeah, but no, we've met multiple times, right?
Oh yeah, you're the
Yeah,
same Crunchy that drew in my sketchbook last MFF, right?
yeah, I did. That
Oh
was
yeah,
me.
that's
And
exactly the
then you
Crunchy
were
that I
like,
know.
"Hey, I gotta go do something for 3 hours. Hold my sketchbook." And I was like, "Okay." And then you just kind of left. And then I had your sketchbook.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah, yeah, some good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of interviews, maybe we should get into one of those to kind of start things off. Eric, what do you think? Should I do the one for Victor, or aka HCF Cuddles, or I could start with one of these two? Like I could honestly just interview Ammo, like since they're here, just to start that off.
Yeah, I'd be down if Victor doesn't take it up first.
Yeah, well, Victor is drawing at the moment, so we actually asked him all of his questions earlier on, and I'm just going to read them off. Uh, I'm gonna pretend to be Victor to oh man, what sort of a voice should I do? Oh boy.
Do you do voices? That sounds super fun.
Yeah, sometimes I do voices and then I
What?
pretend that I'm in a stomach
What?
and then like it was actually one that I put out. I put out some audio today where I was like doing like being inside someone's stomach and all flustered, and it was like, oh no,
Uh huh. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Oh, I have seen those around.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
all right. I think we're gonna do the Victor one. Oh boy, I'm not sure what a Spanish accent is.
Oh,
I'm
just
being
don't
told
make
to
it
do a.
embarrassing
I'm
because
being
I'm from
told to do a
Venezuela.
Spanish accent. Oh geez, I'm not even gonna try that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Yeah.
what would a Spanish accent is? I'm just gonna do, and it's just gonna be stereotypical and like horrible and
Just do you like the very stereotypical Mexican accent and
oh
like talk
jeez.
about burritos?
Uh, uh, I'll be like my dad anytime he sees like a
Yeah.
Mexico. He goes, "Oh, sí, señor,"
Yeah.
and I'm just like, don't
Exactly.
do that, don't do that.
Exactly.
Anyway, okay, so these are the sorts of question I'm gonna ask these questions about like to everybody. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted by Victor's drawing because he's drawing a hot maw. And I'm like, oh dear, I'm just gonna minimize this.
Oh, that looks familiar, doesn't it?
Probably. I don't think Victor's ever eaten me. But no, besides that, yeah, I like maws.
Yeah.
Okay. So uh, uh all right. So I ask, introduce yourself to everybody, Victor. What's your name and what do you do? And Victor says, mm. I
Oh,
want, yeah, okay. I'm Victor, known as.
yeah. I'm
This is
sure this
so
sounds
hard to do a voice for
real deep
somebody.
and
I'm
dark,
so sorry.
mysterious.
Okay, I will try to do some sort of dark and sensual voice for Victor, even though I have no idea if it'll fit or not.
Oh, that's
Like,
exciting.
all right. Introduce yourself to everybody. Victor, what's your name and what do you do? Even though I just said your name. I'm Victor, known as HTF Cuddles, and once upon a time as Dragon Trainer. I'm an artist on the internet that loves to draw furries consuming each other. I'm gonna make this really serious responses too. How long have you been in the fandom or creating work, Victor? I've been here since 2007, 13 years ago. How time flies. I think I started posting a while after I registered, but my memory is fuzzy. Well, do you have any sort of projects going on? What are you working on at the moment? I tend to jump from thing to thing. Right now I'm working in commissions. I can't talk about them for now, sadly, and random stuff. I have some comics ongoing, including some about Avali's. Is that how you say that?
A volley?
Avali's?
A
Aval
volley.
Avali's.
Yeah.
Including one about Avali's, a fantasy species that looks like a mix between a raptor and a bird. While I have some non-Vor projects as well, I haven't announced them publicly yet. What would you say is your main focus or the Vorish niche you most often go for? Well, that would be furry vor. I am a full lover of furry prets. I also love digestion and casual vor, but my work doesn't focus as much in them as I wish. About my community, I don't really know. We tend to have some different tastes about vor, but the common denominator is that we love cute slash adorable stuff. So, yeah, then there's the big question that I want to ask everybody, and that's what do you like about Vor? What do you get out of it? What's the appeal? And how does that factor into your work? This is one of the big difficult questions because it isn't something you can explain easily. What do I like about creatures eating each other? I think every single artist out there, or non artists, can have their own idea about this, but I honestly don't really know. I just go with the flow of things I like, I suppose. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally understand that. That's most of what I do. My tastes go all over the place because I just go with what I like. If you mean about my personal preferences, I love furry preds, including dragons and the such. And as long as one of the participants in the vor scene is adorable, either as a pred or a prey, I'm happy. I also love quote unquote evil vor with digestion and death and soul vor. My work tends to feel more interesting when I work in things I like. And that isn't just limited to vor. I have some few specific no-nos that also limit what I'm going to draw. I'll be more willing to experiment if I get works in the realms of things I like. As for others, I'll be more scared of screwing it up and play it a lot more safe, so to speak. Uh, uh, so, what got you into Vor? I don't think I got on into Vor with something in particular, but one of the earliest scenes that I remember was from the anime movie Tumblerina. I hope I said that. Tumblerina, yeah. Was from the anime movie Tumblerina that made me feel the tinglies, quote unquote. Okay. The tinglies that made me feel the tinglies. Overall, because it was the first scene where Vor looked absolutely mean and not as a random laughing gag that would be undone 2 seconds later. So it's kind of like the opposite of we're gonna have a talk with Humbug later, and he works a lot more in like Looney Tunes sort of stuff. It's sort of the opposite of that, it seems like. And now's the part where I realize I'm having a dialogue with myself and I can't actually answer for Victor. Okay, Victor, are you into any other kinks? And if so, do you combine them with Vor? I think Vor is a very fun fetish because it can be so versatile and like all over the place. So, do you have anything else going on? Funny you should ask that. Yes, I do. Not counting furry, duh. I'm also into transformation and also power play. While I haven't made much art involving TF, I'm kind of picky and want to be good. Power play is a recurrent idea in my artwork, like when my persona is being a macro and destroying cities, or simply teasing or being mean to prey. Yeah. What would you say are some influences in your work? Oh, that's a big question. I have a lot of influences, and while some of them are into Vor, a lot of them are not. Also, while I love some Western artists, Shy Guy 9, Cow Nugget, Yumi Akiyami, FOMO, and Carbo, Most of my influences are Japanese artists, and I'm just gonna apologize now for my uh attempted pronunciation. Japanese artists. Azuma underscore M underscore whitelate underscore Winte K underscore Mo underscore Suke Kaki underscore Leaf Hiyori Reo
Hmm.
Parupoke
Oh,
Pa Parupoke Parupoke
it's like
SW underscore Karasu, etc. I think I got those
I'm
somewhat
sorry.
right.
It's like when you watch like an anime dub, and then you hear like these super American people try to say these Japanese names.
Oh no.
It always gets
Sasuke,
me.
don't go over there. Naruto needs your help or whatnot.
Oh my god.
Naruto. Uh,
Oh, oh, it hurts. It hurts a
oh
lot.
jeez. Yeah, I've never watched a lot of anime, and I keep meaning to, but I also never watch a lot of TV either.
Yeah, me neither. I get that. I just every time I ever hear or see anything like that, it automatically brings me joy though. So it's not like a bad Kona. It's not like it's a bad thing, but it's
Oh, I
it's
know. It's
just
just
funny.
like, oh goodness.
It's funny.
It's like it's like me attempting to speak Dutch. It's like I am Dutch. I've never learned to speak Dutch, and it has so much like and
Oh
like
my god.
noises, and I'm just like I don't have the phlegm for this. Um
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, back to what Victor was talking about. He lists off all of his Eastern influences, and then he also says, also the list of artists who influence me tends to change over time. In the past, I'd study the artwork from Nummy Nums and Eye of Calamity, by example. Yeah, studying work, I could talk for ages about what I pull from people's work too, but we'll get into that a little later, I suppose. Victor, what are your work's defining characteristics, if any? I think that it's adorable and that I don't fear subjecting adorable critters to the horrors of war. I think that's about it. Ugh. Excuse me. All right. What is it about being in the community that makes you want to share your work? Or is there something about being in this community that makes you get the urge to make a name for yourself here? Or is it all just about making Vore for the fun of it? I know the typical answer would be I do it for the fun, but truth is, I started for the fun, and at some point it started getting serious, and then at some point it became my main focus, and it ended in it becoming my work and lifeblood. It isn't about making a name for yourself, but more about getting known enough so what you can do can be seen and appreciated more. It's easier to expose your artwork when you have built an audience than when you're absolutely new. Captain Obvious answer, but you know. I do think I'm known, but not exactly at the point of being famous. Even today, I keep getting people who didn't know my stuff and just discovered it. And then the other big question, being around as long as you have you noticed a lot of change within the fandom? And if so, how so? Oh, absolutely. We've witnessed the fandom from becoming we've witnessed the fandom from being a super niche thing that users had to keep hidden because it was associated with cannibalism and whose artwork was shared more or less underground to it being a lot more known and popular, not as much as Pause by example, to the point that Vore is seen more or less as a meme. However, the Vore meme getting more popular brought some good things, like the chance for good artists to live off their Vore focused craft. I have no idea where the fandom will go from now, but we'll have to see as time comes. And I mean, small shout out to the fact that last I checked, I think hashtag Vorday was up to like 14,000 tweets on Twitter or something. That's just been a whole hilarious, amazing thing for today. Like, I love that. Oh, we have, I believe, a $20 donation from Passivore. Oh god, that name's
Vore,
familiar. I
yes.
know that
They
name.
do Vore animations on YouTube.
Yes, yes. I believe so, yes. I'm like, I've probably looked at their animations a few times before. I would look, but I would get totally distracted and be like, "Ooh, animations. Let's just look at this for a while."
And then just everyone's
It's
silent.
21K now,
Yeah.
Passivore says. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's hit the point where like it got to like 1,000, and then all of a sudden everybody was going, "Wait, why is this trending? Oh, this is so gross." And I'm just like, and there goes the 10K, and there goes the 15K, and yeah, it's kind of amazing. It reminds me of like the Homestuck stuff back in the days when like it'd be like, "Hey, here's an animation. Oh, we crashed a website. Oh, we've taken over this website. Oh God." It's like, well, oh well. All right. Now I have some specific questions for Victor, or quote unquote Victor, since I'm just voicing him.
Okay.
All right. So I asked him. I was saying, can you talk about Victor at all? He's remained Sona, but how would you go about designing him? Because he's mostly a bunny, but then also has a very long tail, for example, and like sort of just not your typical like, oh, this is definitely this animal sort of look. So it's like very much like a signature look, and it's yeah. Vic was actually a character that saw a lot of design practices applied into it. It wasn't just what I felt at the time, although some of its changes improvements have come from it. Back then, I was using a mudkip as a fursona and wanted something else, so it came to choose a species that represented me, a color scheme that was pleasing to the eye, a personality, etc. And after that came to give him his wristbands, a normal accessory among metal music fans, and it worked pretty well for his overall design. And I mean, if you're watching the stream, you can see Vic off in the corner there just like rocking out constantly. It's like I don't know a whole lot about metal music, but I'm just like, oh yeah, Vic has got like metal guitar. Anyway, later when time came for the VOCT, a Vore tournament featuring original characters, long story. We can get into that later too. I had to give him abilities and powers. That's how its fire theme was born. The rest since then has been upgrading him little by little with things that I liked, from his overall shape, oh,
Oh,
digit
did
digitigrade.
did oh digitigrade.
Digitigrade.
That is fucking hard to
Yeah.
say. I just
Dig,
realized.
dig,
Digitigrade.
digitigrade. Yeah.
Digitigrade. There we go.
From his overall shape, digitigrade. I did it wrong. Digitigrade. To the small claws he has now. Ha. And Victor is an all pred character, which is another interesting thing to get into. Was there any reason behind making him an all pred character? Well, funny thing, Vic is prey to a couple characters, but these characters are so few that you can count them with half the fingers on your hand. I keep him as pred because I don't really feel comfortable being prey to anybody I'm not super close to them. And besides, as part of the power play, I love him being in charge, so that works too. And yeah, later on, I also wanted to ask about like Vore is a way that people can kind of express their identity and all that self, and like a lot of that can come up in their preferences. It's really interesting in that way. Yeah. Anyway, is being an all predator something you've ever gotten flack for, or have you ever been looked at differently for it? Well, when you publicly announce you're into Fatal Vore, you will immediately get the dislike of a lot of the Endo community. I have gotten comments telling me about how evil Vic is, how they wish Vic was good, or even people coming up with personal stories featuring him being beaten up or killed. That not counting, of course, the typical "is prey going to be okay" comment that by today is a meme among the Vore community. Well, yeah, that's a whole fair topic, which I don't want to get too into it, but endo versus digestion and all the various little pockets of like tiny little drama that come up and all that.
So it
Yeah,
looks like Hula Fours just donated, and Mincy V just
oh,
donated as well. I
thank
just wanted
you.
to bring that up
Yeah,
because I
or
just feel like I should contribute in some way at least.
yeah, or Dr. Wobbly.
Dr.
I'm like, Dr.
Wobbly?
Wally, Dr.
That is a
Wally. It's his uncle, Dr. Wobbly.
I fucking love the name Dr. Wobbly. It's cute. Is
Yeah,
that who they are? Is that who the person
I don't know.
is?
That's what the name says.
Okay, then I love it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, don't worry about like donation amount. We're just hanging out and raising money as much as we can. Uh, oh yeah, I was going to say like VOCT. That was a whole that was an idea that came about ages ago that I was only around to just kind of watch. But a lot of people thought, well, why don't we have a tournament where people like write a story or draw some art of like their character beating the other character, and then like we'll do it like a little tournament, and then I mean, not that I was there, to be fair. It seemed like it became a popularity contest, or there would always be the question of like, does art get more popularity than writing? And like they had a panel of independent judges, but those judges had friends, and like it was just sort of like good idea, but because it became like a competition, it sort of like became its own thing. Yeah, and fighting like that never does help any community timber, yeah. It's just like, yeah, it was cool to see. I didn't participate because I was a tiny bab in the fandom comparatively. I totally could now maybe, but I'd rather just tease people I know. Anyway, back to the interview with Victor. We got one more big question that I wanted to hit. Uh, you cover a lot of harder subjects in your art, like harder digestion, cruel preds, and crushing. Any thoughts on that? Have you gotten flack for that? And do you have any thoughts on like cruelty like that in fantasy art versus actually wishing it on people? Because as I said before, work can be like an expression of identity to some people. So if someone draws something really awful, then they could be they could be seen as being really awful themselves. Anyway, Victor responds to the actual question and not my rambling by saying, I think all comes to power play and a disdain for the typical good ending shown in most media, added to the fact that these things can get a stronger reaction from people, being it feeling sad for the prey or enjoying the display of power. And while I have indeed gotten some few angry folks for that in the past, they didn't last for too long, and once I established myself as the kind of war artist I am, trouble sort of stopped. And about that sort of cruelty and fantasy versus real life, to be honest, I don't see Vore as a way to vent. I don't really see Vic eating person who annoys me as a way to vent out frustrations. And wishing some character to be eaten slash digested doesn't mean I'm going to want that to someone at all. There's a big, very thick line separating fantasy and reality, and I like to think I'm very far to the fantasy side of it. Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that for the most part. I definitely keep a lot of my Vor stuff like online me is very different from offline. I don't go mixing the two very much. And I don't know, sometimes you're just in a really rough, mean mood or whatnot, but then other times completely not.
Well,
Anyway,
uh,
thank you, Victor, for answering all those questions and uh and typing them all out because yeah, I
well,
keep wanting to say
I'll
stuff as
interject as
yes.
well
Yes.
and say, like a lot of these people who are, into like, all this vor and everything. It's like it's not everyone thinks like, oh, it's like cannibalism or something like that, and then so that's the negative stigma that people get around it. And it's like, it's just something that a lot of us enjoy. And it's just something that, it's just an escapism, a form of escapism from, what we have to deal with in real life. So that's, it's the same thing with me where I separate my personal, professional life, I guess, with, my online self. I deal with, I run communities online with Vore and everything, and I have fun talking to people, and I have fun learning new things about what other people's interests are, and it's just enjoyable. And they feel happy. They're not angry. They're not aggressive. They're not trying to hurt anyone. It's just all for fun. It's just all good fun, and people just make it more than it actually is, and for some reason, when they have their own things that they're into, and it's just like the same thing.
Yeah.
So
It's like because it can be identified in so different many ways or just mean different things to different people. One person could look at like some digestion pick and just be like, like if I was the pred in that case, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm doing something so perverse and mean because the person likes it." And like, "Oh, it feels good to just be like really mean like that." But then someone else could look at that and just be like, "Wow, that's really monstrous. Like that's really
Mhm.
kind of fucked up." And yeah, I mean, it's important to know the intent behind it and how much like people don't put it into reality.
Yeah.
I mean, reality is sort of something that ever since I got into the fetish and went on to Ekkas for the first time, like one of their big rules was no real life vor. Like, don't do any animal swallowing, none of that. Like, it was very clear on just like this is all fantasy. Do not engage in all that. Like, people just want to have their fun fetish exploring space. Like, don't go bringing like real stuff into it. It's all
Yeah.
just yeah.
No, I mean, like, I love as much as I love like the safe aspect of Vore as well. I really love the more gory aspects as well because I'm really into like gore and violence on media, of course. But when it comes to real life, when it comes to handling things that way, it's like I would never do anything like that, and I would never harm an animal. I would never hurt anyone like that or try to hurt anyone. Period. It's like, it's just purely fantasy that it's just fun. It's fun to draw. It's fun to, view. It's just like it kind of just brings that sort of adrenaline rush, especially, it's the same thing with like movies, like gory movies. People watch it just to have fun, and that's it. And then so there's all these different things that people like, but they take them differently, and they just kind of like put their own light onto them, and then it's like they'll have like a lot of these negative connotations as well. That that's why there's such a negative stigma that goes around for, and which is unfortunate. But what I like and don't like, I guess, is that it's becoming more mainstream. So it's a lot more people that are understanding what it is, and being more okay with it being social, like cultural furry norm, I guess.
Yeah, I
But
mean like this feels like a just like the second step beyond like when Vor was a meme in the first place. It was like, oh no, Vor is a meme. People are going to really get into it or get after it. But then it was like, well, just sort of brought more people around after the time. And then like now in this case, it's like, well, you never know. We could find even more people that find it and like the actual joy that it can bring to people or just like the good feelings like for myself, I don't engage in gore or a lot of the harder stuff all that often unless I'm being really mean to someone. But like on the opposite side of things, it's like if you're feeling touch starved or if I'm like had a rough day or something, then I'll just be like, hey, can we just like, in role play sense, I'll just want to like cuddle or, have some nice soft endo times or whatnot with somebody and just kind of chill out and just imagine that sort of I don't want to say intimacy, but more closeness, I suppose.
yeah. Yeah, like I really appreciate the closeness aspect of it, like the more intimate, not sexually, because I'm not very sexual, I
Me
guess.
neither, yeah.
But yeah, so but like for me, it's more about like the closeness, and just about being close to someone that you care about and someone that you feel comfortable with, and so I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for everybody joining us, that was Crunchy, by the way, and I'm Jeschke. We also have ammo around here somewhere,
That's how you
but
say your name, Jeschke.
yeah, Jeschke, yeah.
Jeschke. Oh
But I saw some people asking if Victor was actually talking. It's like, no, I'm just
Oh,
attempting to do a voice. No, or it's Crunchy. Like,
yeah, this is hi. I'm Crunchy. I'm not. I don't know who Victor is, but that's not me.
yeah, well,
Definitely.
that's a person doing art right now. It's HTF
Oh,
Cuddles.
okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I just call them Victor because it's way easier than
HTF
HTF
cuddles.
Cuddles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Yeah, I'm like now that we've gotten out of discussion about uh kind of not necessarily exploration of the self, but just as like a form of escapism. That's what a lot of fetish stuff is.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's see.
it's something that makes us feel good, and we're here to feel good, and we're here to feel comfortable. And I mean, I don't want to say it in like a negative way, but it's like these safe spaces for us that it's okay to be yourself in these areas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm just thinking, I'm like, well, if you were like underwater and then got into the belly of a whale so that you wouldn't drown, then it would literally be a really safe space.
I mean, if you've ever seen Mind Game, that Japanese, it's kind of like a Japanese anime movie, I guess, but it's really surreal. It's like one of my favorite. Like, I don't usually watch anime or anything like that, but like there are very few that it depends on like how stylized they are. I'm really into over the top sort of styles, and Mind Game is just one of those kind of movies that like kind of blends a mix of like crazy themes and styles, and part of it is just them like they get eaten by a whale and then they just kind of live in a whale and just live life for a while. So it's
Yeah.
it's pretty
That makes
weird, but
that makes me think of like probably one of the other kinds of Vore that I'm suddenly remembering. Like Vore used to be a big thing in like old fairy tales, or like I'm thinking of like Jonah and the whale, of course, now. So like,
yeah.
oh boy, yeah, it's been around for a while, but that's one of the first places I would have run into it. Like heck,
Yeah.
do you think that do you think that people in biblical times were major vorophiles, Crunchy?
I mean, I'm sure that they were a lot of fucking things.
You think
I mean, they
everybody's
don't like
secretly a vorophile?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, it's like I could definitely assure that that is a possibility, because it's like I'm sure they didn't mark it down or write it in a Bible or anything like that, but of fucking course, I mean, someone must have been into that. It's not something that typically you're just like, oh, I'm gonna decide just to be into this. It's just something that you're into, and you can't
Yeah,
help that. You can't help who you are.
it's like
So I mean, it's always been like that.
yeah. Well, I'm just imagining like, what if we just like really simplified like what it meant to be a vorophile? It's like, do you like food? Yeah, you're into vor.
I I mean, in a way, I guess. It's like, yeah, in simplest terms, it's like I like food sometimes. I like fuck, I don't know. I had some chicken nuggets earlier.
I'm
I
like, I
really like
like to
chicken
eat.
nuggets.
I like
Yeah.
cooking. Well, I actually don't like cooking in vor all that much, but I really like to cook on a stove. So,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that's how you make good food.
yeah. Oh, side note, by the way, thanks to Luffred and Teshi for the donations.
Where
I
do you
believe
see
we
these?
thanked Mincy already, right? Well, thank you again, Mincy. Anyway,
How do you see these donations?
there's a page. It's a Tifley link that's somewhere in our
Oh,
Discord.
I see it right here. Okay, I'm gonna click on it so I
Yeah,
can
or
note
Tiltify.
that. All right, I
Yeah,
see. Yeah, Teshi donated 25.
yeah, yeah, Sean. It's like if someone wrote the story of Little Red Riding Hood today, then someone would be like, "That is such vanilla vor porn. Like, stick some cocks in there. Come on."
Oh my
Is the wolf
god.
does the wolf enjoy eating his food? Like, why aren't you talking about it? Like, ew, I don't like old ladies in my vor. Like, it would just be seen as fetish stuff.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, they are named Dr. Wobbly. I see it now. I love
Yeah,
it.
no, they're literally Dr.
Oh,
Wobbly. I
sorry.
love it.
I just cute names. I just fucking love cute names. Like, sorry, I get really excited. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, um, I had nothing to say after I said yeah. So you have to continue. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was
What I
thinking
told
of
you.
you were talking about gore and some of that stuff, and that brought to mind
Okay.
something else I was thinking about, which was how Vore has just changed over time. Like not just growing as a meme and like becoming popular as we've seen and as we've seen today, but like as more and more people get involved with it, it's sort of how do you say it? Like definitions start to sort of change and like subgroups start to sort of form. Like I start to think to myself, I'm like, man, I haven't seen like a whole ton of hardvore in a while. And by hardvore, I have to like specify that I mean like there was like soft vor, which is being swallowed whole, and then there was hard vor, which was being swallowed in pieces. And it's not that I'm like looking up a lot of hard vor, so maybe I'm just not seeing it that way, but it feels like I used to just see more of that. Whereas now it might just be seen as like cannibalism, or people might call it butchering or something like that. Or they might go, "Oh, it's gore. Get it out of this Vore website." Like, do you have any experience with that, Crunchy?
I
You
mean,
said you were more into gore.
I've drawn it a couple times. I haven't drawn it that often. I typically like to view it a lot more, and also like I'll watch a lot of movies that have a lot of gore, especially like earlier horror movies. And then embarrassingly enough, like a guilty pleasure is to watch all the Saw movies 1 through 7 plus the newest one.
Oh, I can't watch
And
those at all. You're
my
braver than I am.
my favorite thing to do is just to look up the death scenes just because I'm real bored sometimes. And then it's just kind of like, I'll just like, and then whenever I'm drawing or kind of working on something, I'll just on my other screen, I'll have Hellraiser on, and it's just kind of like in the background. And I really like that sort of, it's just fun. Like, it's fun and entertaining to look at. I like, I like how expressive they can be with like, just how much they put into things that can happen to your body, I guess. And it's not like, in a way that like I get off to it or anything or it's super sexual. It's just fun to look at. Even my mom loves violent movies because they're fun. It's something that someone goes out to see because it's fun, not because they're gonna, reenact it in real life and that they're going to, they're going to start killing people.
Yeah,
But
but
it's
I
just
mean, like
it's
as far as like the Vore community, do you think there's been like Sam said, or I guess Humbug said in the chat that hard Vore peeps largely went to Guro boards. Like, do you think there's been sort of a shift over time, like of hard Vore people just kind of like moving out, or like making less, or just relocating?
I mean, I I don't see hardcore that often just because it is a lot more niche than say, like softcore.
Yeah, it's
But
like, was there really all that much in the first place, even?
not that I was really aware of. So, whenever I would see it, it would be definitely a treat to see because it was, something I was like, "Oh, hey, cool. This is something new." And like that's how I kind of learned how to do more of the blood effects and um but yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it was just like, they're I don't see them around that often. There never really were that many. A lot of them also aren't you don't see them because they're not always artists, there a lot of them are just role play. I see a lot of digestion role play, so, and that can get really graphic as well.
Yeah, that was gonna be the
Um,
next thing I was gonna say is, like, digestion by itself used to just mean, like, every kind of digestion, but now I've seen, like, a growing trend of, like, soft digestion versus hard digestion because, like, I sort of had that in a text adventure I did ages ago where it's like I had implied digestion and then I had full digestion, where it's like one of them, like, you don't really experience any pain or anything like that, but the other one it's like, oh, like you're suffering. It's like nasty and kind of indulging more in like the horrificness of it, I guess. But
yeah,
like,
people even now, like I do see some like what is it? Just people not liking it as much whenever they see someone even just kind of doing more soft digestion because they feel like it's too much for them to handle. And I mean, I can get that. Like, there's a lot of squeamish people that like they're not in it for that part or that aspect of it. They're in it again, just like we were saying before, for the intimacy, the personal kind of attachment, the closeness to
yeah.
the person that you're doing it with, basically. But yeah, exactly like Anubis is saying, it's not their cup of tea, and that's fine. That makes sense. It's not for everyone. And
Yeah.
but some people are very, very outspoken about how much they don't like it,
Yeah, I
and
feel
it
like
can it, it
I feel like I'm
can scare
thinking of
them.
like I feel like thinking of like a Tumblr post I saw at one point or something, or a Twitter post where someone was like you can't tag something as like soft vor because it has digestion. And I was like, that's not what the terms mean. but it was just kind of a sign of like new people are getting into this, and like soft vor was like basically just endo,
Yeah, I
whereas
mean,
someone would be
there's
like
just
hard vor is like being digested.
there's
It's like,
yeah,
oh
there's hard and soft, and then there's endo friendo and digesty besties. You know, it's like you gotta learn how to separate them.
yeah,
You can't. They're not all the same thing.
or
You
like
can
I
have a
know I
soft vor
know
and
yeah, or
digestion.
yeah. Or I know a whole lot of people that have like been exploring like different means of digestion that's like very soft, or like different fates. Whereas like I mean like when I first started off, people would be like, you get 8, it's done. Like you're digested, you're fat, and that's it. But now there's people that'll go into sentient fat, or they'll go into predscapes, or they'll go into like reformation, and like a lot of fun things that have come from that. But I don't remember that really being a thing when I like got into it back in like 2009 or whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, again, within the last 10 years, you can definitely see the change in how much Vor has become a lot more mainstream, and how a lot of people out there, are being more open about it. So, before I would rarely ever see it, but now I see it all over Twitter all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm in all these different groups that are very open about it, and
Yeah, it's
it's
sort of interesting how things have developed like that. I'm like, if I was smarter, I would make some sort of grand statement about how, oh, people are becoming more comfortable with it as intimacy or something, like some sort of founded scientific statement sort of thing. But it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is like, I'm not in it to like hurt people, or like, bring it into reality or do anything like that. It's just makes me feel happy. It makes me feel good. And, it makes other people feel good. And, that's why I like all these different communities that we have, because, it's a place where people can be themselves and express that sort of, appreciation for Vor, and it makes them feel good and makes them feel comfortable
Yeah,
doing what they
in
love to do.
whichever like horrific or wholesome way they want to do it, it just makes them feel good, and that's why we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
But
Yeah. I'm like, on the subject of communities too, even that might be a good way for us to transition into talking with ammo. Um, because
Hello.
something else that has come up a lot. Yes, hello. I'm just gonna like sort of introduce you a bit. Like something else that I was reflecting on recently that was another change over time is like people being so much more able to create their own sub communities now. Like that used to be something that like maybe there'd be a sub community on a different website, or like a chat room maybe, or maybe there'd be like the Twitter crowd or the Tumblr crowd. But then I was thinking to myself yesterday, I was like, wait a second. Like everybody has a Discord server nowadays. Like that's really taken off. Everybody's got like their own like nice little space where they can gather up all the people that they're friends with because of communal interests and all that. But yeah. So on that note, like we have ammo here, which if you weren't here at the beginning, they run the oh, what's the name of it again? It's the Cockvor slash CockTF Den, which is just
Ye-
like it's a CV based server, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, do you want me to go into like the history of how it started and
Yeah,
whatnot?
why don't you just like introduce yourself, like talk about what you do, and then talk about your server and how it came about.
Hi, so I'm Amo, Dark Amo Tiger, as I go by. Again, you can just call me Amo. Um, so I'm actually fairly new to the Vore community. Um, Weirdly enough, usually I hear all these stories like, oh, like when I was younger, I saw all this stuff happening in cartoons, and it gave me that tingly feeling. But like that actually never really happened with me. It was really much of a later development.
You're like,
I think like
how'd you come upon Vor then, or like how'd you find out about it or get into it then?
well, for the longest time, I was like, I knew of it. It was like, aha, this is weird. But then one day, like going down, like scrolling through, like I think it was like a futa board or something. I saw a piece of Mode 7 art, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, and I was like, and it was so, of course, Cog4. And I decided to look into it more. I'm like, hey, I kind of like this. And then from there, it branched off to Orvor, Breath, for Unbirth, Transformation, Absorption, so on and so forth.
Yeah, that kind of that like makes me think of my own like Vorish awakening, I suppose. When I like first found out about Ekka's portal and for Affinity, I was just like, oh my god, like, whoa, all this stuff that I can't comprehend yet, but it's just like it's just amazing in some way.
Yeah, yeah. And for a while, I was just kind of lurking, looking at posts, and then one day, like, I was thinking, like, uh, oh, hey, there's this scenario that I really like, and I woke up in the morning, I'm like, I need to write this, and so I just went on, and in a single afternoon I wrote like a 4-page cocktail story and posted it on Echoes, and that's how I got my beginning. I think that was in like January of last year, yeah, 2019, and from there I just kind of was talking like kick group chats dedicated to Cock4, CTF, and whatnot. And this leads to where my server's origins. So Kick announced, oh, we're going to be shutting down the app to focus on our cryptocurrency. And my thought was, oh wait, where are we going to go? So the thing I used most of the time was Discord. So I was like, okay, well, is there any for Discord servers? And I looked it up, and the only one was like a single server with like one member. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. I'm going to make my own. So what I did was I made my own, and then I went into these like, I think there was like 2 Cockboard chats and 1 CTF chat, and I'm like, hey, since this is shutting down, who wants to migrate here? And I got like 30 30 yeah 30 members, and before we officially launched. And the plan was, okay, I'm gonna release this on November 1st, and I'm going to write a story to promote it. It was going to be a Cock4 No Not November story.
Oh dear.
Yeah, yeah, and you can probably guess how that went. But yeah, I posted that on, and I think in the first day I got like 20-30 people joining, and it just kept on going and going with each day, to the point where I'm now running the the biggest cock war, and I think the only cock transformation server on Discord. So I know there's another server focused on COG4, but one for CTF. So
Yeah, I had to ask because you mentioned kick and all that too, but like, how long ago did you get in the fetish, would you say?
oh geez,
Like
I
I
think
can definitely say that I was finding material online like 2006, 2007 ish. And like I finally started talking to people like in 2010. But like how about you? Because you sound a lot more recent.
Yeah, no, I I started getting into it at around, oh geez, it was for sure after 2015. I think it was in 2016. I want to say. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm gonna say 2016. I kind of learned, and then I started talking to people about it in like 2000 and in the later half of 2018, and it was only until um like like September or October of 2019 that I really started to delve into the community and then fully diving in like November, as I said.
Yeah. Yeah, November is when you like got your server going, did you say?
Yes, yes, as
Yeah.
well as actually started producing stories semi regularly. So
Yeah. And like if you've gotten that much of a following after like just that short of a time, then that's pretty good. I mean, that just speaks to the amount of people that want like a specifically cog4 server.
yeah, yeah.
Like out of curiosity, because I'm not in your server or anything, like do you disallow other kinds of Vore, or is it just like you focus mainly on cog4?
Uh, we have a focus on CV, CTF, and then we'll just have like a general NSFW channel. We will, well, like, oh, if people want to like post images that feature bones, hard, vor, and stuff like that, they'll have to spoil the image. But as long as it's um as long as it's just like art, then it's fine. We don't discriminate or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I think I know a good few people that have very specific interests, so I'm guessing your interests are just mostly in cog4. That's why it's just like, yeah, let's just do a cog4 server instead of just a Vore one.
Well, no, I do like, yeah, like as I mentioned before, I like oral vor, uh, rest vor, birth, absorption, transformation, stuff like that. But again, the cock oriented stuff is what I mostly lean towards.
Gotcha. Yeah, and ironically enough, cog4 is like something that I keep meaning to do, but never actually get around to. I keep saying that I'm going to do audio of it one day, but I don't think I have. No, I don't think I have. I will one day.
All
Yeah.
right.
But like I'm like looking at the Discord for.info, and there's just like a whole bunch of different little communities. Like there's one for Pokemon noms. I remember when they just had like when they just had a Discord or when they just had a website. Um there's one for I think it's misspoiled. It's like Orupoke. It's like a Pokevore game
You
that someone made.
you mean our poke?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's spelled our poke.
Yeah, it's
In
our poke.
I thought it was like Uropoke. Never
It
mind.
used
But
to be
yeah,
that. They switched it.
okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's one for like a server for focusing on writing works. There's one that's focused on like fur or like scalies and furries, I guess, to a lesser degree. I'm like, I can remember like finding a forum for the first time that was like just dragons, like Dragon Spot or whatever it was called, being like, oh my goodness, like you could totally just dwell in Dragon Vore as a thing. Yeah, Vore is such like a crazy like wide fetish that like you can just do so much crap with it, and that's what I love about it. Yeah. But like in your case, it's more like going completely for cockvore because that's what you like.
Sorry, I was muted for a second there. Yeah, mostly, I would say. But yeah, of course, I do like the other stuff as well.
Yeah. I think most people that I've ever met, they typically like once in a while there'll be someone who is like they specifically only like this and only this, but the rest of them like they'll branch out a little bit or whatnot.
Yeah. I tried to have a little bit of everything. Um,
Yeah.
think
Oh,
like
and I'm sure your server like crosses into like hyper and like excessive cum and like
oh yes,
conflation and all that sort of thing too.
oh definitely.
Because that's
Uh,
also like another really great thing about Vore is that you can combine it with so much other stuff.
yeah, it's crazy the amount of uh if you like just regular old food, uh food transformation's the thing for you.
Yeah,
You know, and
or just stuffing and then it ends in Vore because why not eat the person feeding you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's just that's why I was saying that I like how varied Vore is, and just like learning about people's interests, because there's just so many different types and so many different things about it that makes it interesting. And I'm like, it's fun. It's sociology in a way, just to kind of learn people's likes and dislikes, and what they find is interesting.
I gotcha.
And Humbug seems to be here
Yeah,
now. Hello,
I
Humbug.
think we are switching over to Humbug's stream now.
So
I'm
it
not
would
sure.
appear.
Hello, Humbug.
Greetings.
Good to have you join us.
Lies.
No, it is. I'll just say outside of like our official interview or whatnot, I met Humbug like once at Anthrocon in 2013 or 2010.
I
And then
think
we
we
were
met each other twice, but yeah,
yeah,
it was not much.
yeah, then we were setting up this whole thing and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm going to actually like get to talk to Humbug for the first time in years."
That is true.
Yeah. Anyway, are you going to be doing some art for us or are we just doing the interview?
Yeah, I guess I've got an art program and stream up, so y'all can move over there if you want.
Okay, well, I think Eric's going to just like
Yeah, that's what I
what is
mean.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, redirect the whatever, the visual.
Yeah, the stream's just on a delay, so I'm like, "Oh, are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
Yeah. Of course, I don't see
Anyway,
him in my list yet, but hey, that's fine. Anyway, hello.
hello. I mean, I guess we might as well just launch into the interview while we're here and get
Yeah,
this
Sure.
that's
going.
great. Oh man, I'm
Sure.
excited. I'm excited for
Yeah.
interviews.
Yeah, so I'll just say thanks for like talking with us about that ammo. Like, yeah, cool. Like it's just a kind of a testament to like people's ability to create their own communities and like have their own special interest and like their own space for it and all that. It's like, yeah, it's really cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad to talk about that.
Yeah. And I will just move over to Humbug then. I don't want to go speaking for you too much, so I'll just like start with the questions and then go from there. Because I was about to be like, "Oh, I've seen you being doing art since then." And I'm like, "Wait, that's a question." So, Humbug, introduce yourself to everybody. What's your name and what do you do?
I'm Humbug. I go by that on Echo's Portal. On For Affinity, I go by Samantha Weltson, which is kind of my main character who existed before my fursona did. I do cartoony Vore shit. Like that's my thing. It's my jam.
Yeah. I feel like I should ask like cartoony in what way? Like does it involve cartoons or does it like go for a cartoony style or
Yes.
yeah, I was like I guess it kind of does both.
Yeah, it
And
does.
And you do some animations too, right?
I do. I've been animating quite a lot since I got the better version of Clip Studio. Made things
So
much
did
easier.
I. It's so
Nice.
great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
A wee bit expensive if you don't get it on discount, but like it's a one-time payment, not
I pay
Adobe.
$75 a year.
Oh, geez.
I do it on iPad, so it's really expensive.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And so next question then, how long have you been in the fandom creating work?
Oh boy. So in anticipation of this, I looked back on Ekka's Portal, which is
Oh boy.
probably the most the longest I've been on anything that's still up.
I'm guessing 12 years.
No, 14.
Oh goodness.
And that's just Ekka's Portal. Like before that, I was on what was called the Vortex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was
and
one of those defunct sites that I was talking about was
yeah,
like the Vortex. I remember that one fondly. I think you can still find it, like there's an archive of it somewhere.
there's an
And
archive of it on Ekka's actually.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's a site that like even when I came upon it, I think it had hit its second to last update, and then it had its last update where it's like, Happy Halloween, we added some more stuff, and then the site never updated again.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Clown Town? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 years though.
Oh,
Like
I'm an old motherfucker.
do you think you've improved at all over those 14 years though?
No, not in the
No.
slightest. I'm still doing MS Paint pixelated garbage with a mouse.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And I don't understand anatomy any better, and I never got perspective or action lines or anything like that. Nothing. I haven't learned anything. I'm just, stagnant.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious then. Like do you draw at all besides Vore stuff, or has that sort of been the one has that been the one factor that sort of got you to draw and develop yourself?
I guess like that's the biggest motivator. But like sometimes I draw other stuff, but for the most part, it is primarily that. Just I don't know, for some reason that's just like the big thing that I'm interested in.
Yeah, like I've sort of been the same way where it's like I would not have gotten into sound design at all if I hadn't like started playing around with Vore stuff, and now I've developed sound design stuff and gotten like and bettered myself, but just because I wanted to do better Vore.
Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of the same situation.
Yeah. So on that note then, like after all of this developing or whatnot, like what sort of projects do you have going on? Like what are you working on at the moment?
Oh, so you want the full list? Because I've got a crap load of things going on right
Well,
now.
I can think of
Um,
one thing that I was like, oh, I can't wait to ask Humbug this question so we can talk about like
yeah,
the
yeah.
animation.
Yup, it's the animation, the massive, yeah. So like I do 2D animation, and it's by hand, and it's frame by frame. So it's a massive pain in the butt. It takes forever ish, but I've gotten way faster at it. And because I've gotten confident enough in my skills, I am currently trying my hand at I call it Hot Pursuit. It's a 10-minute, well, going to be 10-minute long, just frickin' Vore straight up cartoon. Here, I don't know if I'm not seeing my stream on the thing, but maybe it's out. It's not there yet. But anyway, I'll just pull up the first section of it so y'all can see that.
Yeah, Eric
Assuming it's
says you don't have a feed up yet.
really. I'm streaming. Let me make sure. Okay, go live, stream key, copy, go to settings,
Yeah,
stream. Uh-oh.
I'm like, if anybody saw the one like little animation that I put some sound on, I'm not sure I've posted about it on FA, but like Humbug has done a lot of little animations that I love to just grab for warm-up material if I'm ever going to do sound stuff. I believe I posted about it on Twitter, but it was like I added sounds, and then I was like, I could totally do a little cartoony soundtrack, and then basically he's doing 10 minutes of that where it's like cartoony Vore.
Yeah.
Like I think the hope is that I'm gonna like try to do some music.
Yeah, we've got
Maybe.
a little thing going on where I will pay you in animation if you do this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll pay you in money if you really need it at the time, but that's the first thing that I would do.
But yeah, we're like
yeah.
he's been working on this for I don't know how long he's been working on this. Feels like half a year at this point.
Yeah, since November. Okay, so question, Herrick, is it up yet? Do you see this?
Yeah, Humbug's also someone that I know that doesn't like publicly post about their streams a lot. They just like I'll see that they're working and it's like, oh, we're spending another few hours on Hot Pursuit because it just takes that long.
Yup. Yeah, a few hours. I can get like maybe 5 seconds of animation if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Which I guess
Oh,
is
boy.
sort of fast, but yeah.
Looks like the
Okay,
stream
let's see.
is
Oh, good, we're up. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I will show the first part of this giant frickin' cartoon. Here, let's pop that up there.
All right, I'm waiting for it to show up on my end
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I
gotta
have
wait
to
for
wait for the stream to update.
Yeah, it's like double stream lag.
Yeah.
So, hope this works.
Actually,
I put it in GIF format first, and yes, I say GIF. Fuck you. But I do that first just because it's the easier way to do things, and MP4 it takes a little bit longer to load up and stuff. But once it's all said and done, the whole 10 minutes is going to be compiled together into one giant MP4. I'm going to put up on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I'm watching it on your stream so I can actually keep it up. I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, man, I feel like I remember watching you draw this like at the very beginning, like not colored or anything.
Yeah. No, I have recently finished coloring just this part. Although, granted, this part is like a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. Freaking huge by itself. But
fucking love those comedically oversized turkeys.
yeah, it's gotta be
Yeah,
there.
it's very classic.
Always get sweetie.
All right, so that is that part. Although I guess you guys will see that later probably. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of yeah. And
Yep.
I believe it's a Patreon what's the word?
It
Funded.
used to be Patreon until Patreon decided that Vore counts as sexual violence and they don't allow it on their stuff, so they'll come after you if they find it. So now it's Gumroad, but yeah.
Oh, gotcha. But it's like a funded sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because artists need money for some reason,
I know,
like
but
for food or whatever.
it's shocking.
Wait,
isn't
it's
it?
not allowed on
Whatever.
Patreon anymore?
No, like fatal or non-consensual Vore is considered sexual violence according to the Patreon staff. Now, I'm not fully sure how they'd feel about just the cartoony stuff because the things they've targeted in the past have been a bit more realistic, a bit more violent than what I do, but like I'm not going to chance it. And honestly, if it's up to their whims, I have absolutely no reason to be there. So I went with a website that's like art is art. And yes, art can have messages, and we'll censor some of those messages if they're terrible. But like, art is art, and we're just going to stick by that. So that's why I went with Gumroad.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, I've got too many windows open. I was like, what's the next thing? Well, okay, this is probably going to be a bit of an obvious question, but like, what's your main focus or the Vorish niche that you most often go for? Like type of Vore, digestion, like typical predator prey. I mean, cartoony, obviously, but what else?
Okay, so like, despite the fact that I love cartoony stuff, I enjoy exclusively fatal stuff. I think it's because like this is probably like gonna slam into one of your other questions, but back in the day, like I've always been a person who's rooted for the underdog, and back in the day, the underdog was always the predator in the cartoons, and so I wanted the predator to keep their stuff. And of course, you know what happens to stuff that's kept in the stomach for a little while. And so like 2 and 2 got put together in my weird brain wiring, and that's how that happens. So yeah, it's exclusively fatal. I used to be into darker stuff just because it pissed people off, but I have since grown out of that edgy phase a little bit more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I remember you having like like what would it be called, like a digestion, like only, or like Fatal Vor Club tag on your profile or
Oh,
something.
I've still got that. Yeah, I'm actually one of the founders of that. So is Victor, who was streaming earlier.
Oh, I gotcha. But it
Yeah.
used to be even worse, you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I used to well, not exclusively, but explicitly draw like people melting and bones, like flesh coming off of bones and blood pooling in the stomach and stuff like that. And I don't really, first of all, it was never sexy. Second of all, it's a pain in the ass to draw because like anatomy is hard enough on the on the outside. When you have to draw people's insides too, it's kind of like, oh god, this is so hard. It's not even worth it. But like beyond that, it's just, I don't know. I don't actively seek to make people angry anymore.
Yeah. It's like I can remember doing that when I was younger too, but like now it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with how like kind of connected people are with their online selves anymore.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, there can be like real life repercussions of doing really bad things, or like people are gonna judge you like that because they've tied themselves to it
Yeah, for
and all that.
sure. For sure. I mean, most people have had some sort of edgy phase or another. Just depends on like extreme or extremity of it. But yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you answered this. I was gonna say, oh yeah, what do you like about Vore? Like what do you get out of it and what's the appeal?
It's, you know, like I knew the question was coming and I've thought about it a whole bunch, but it's still really hard to answer. And I guess Victor actually gave the same sort of answer, but like it's just obviously like some wires got crossed in my brain during development. So there's some sort of interest there that probably wouldn't be there in a normal person. But like I guess the gist of what I enjoy, if we're just going on a pure surface level, is like I kind of enjoy the destruction element, like just annihilation, I guess is a better word for it. It's uh it's removing a person from society, like a a contributing member of society, and doing it in a safe way.
I
Like
getcha.
yeah, it's just a weird fantasy. And I know that sounds absolutely terrible to any outsider listening in on this, but like it's it's just kind of a weird kink sort of thing. And it has absolutely no analog to the real world, of course.
But
Like,
yeah, I was like, if we were gonna start getting into like the psychology of Vore, then it's like that's a whole
yeah.
mess of potatoes.
Oh
Like
yeah. I mean it's fascinating, but maybe not good for this tiny stream.
yeah, I'm
Um
like the one thing I could say about that is like I've heard it said that like fetishes are a really good way for people to like confront insecurities about themselves or things that they find like distasteful about the real world, but it like recontextualizes it in a way that they like and can enjoy.
yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. Cause like
Yeah.
I guess like see I'm friggin' pacifist in real life for the most part. Um, like I do not like violence at all. I think war is just almost exclusively done for stupid reasons. And there's all that kind of stuff. And so like death is not a good thing to me. And like seeing this kind of stuff done in a fantasy setting kind of is cathartic, I suppose. Because like I'm trying to think of how to explain this properly. Um, it's cathartic because it's all the bad that shouldn't happen in the real world is happening in an interesting uh, fantasy situation.
Yeah, and it's also like an isolated fantasy situation as well.
Yeah, and like I'm not a fan of. Well, okay, I'm not going to dunk on people who like this, of course, but like I'm not a fan of permavore. I think it's silly. Permavore being like you draw or role play a character being eaten and digested and whatever, and then like you never use that character again. because I like the cartoon aspect where, yeah, the character's gone in one canon, one reality or whatever, but like you could just keep using them. It's fine. You can
Yeah,
keep
like the next episode
torturing.
comes on.
Yeah, exactly. You can keep torturing that character over and over. It's fine. It's just a silly thing that happens. Um, and so yeah, I think that's just like it's safe, it's fun, it's meaningless. I think is probably the best part about it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like you can do all these horrible, awful things, but really it doesn't mean anything at all.
Yeah,
It's just almost like a way to explore those, and then like, maybe you enjoy it, but then like when all's said and done, then it's like then you leave it on the computer and you go away or whatnot.
exactly. Yeah, it's just a thing that happens in a very isolated reality.
Yeah. And then like the follow-up question I had for that was like, how does what you like factor into your work? Which I guess we've kind of talked about this. There are cartoons. There's like, I know one of your favorite characters to draw as Prey is like a contributing member of society. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, a
you
city
know,
manager character.
yeah, who then gets like digested or kidnapped and then digested, or gets shrunk down and then digested. And
Yeah,
then
all of
she just
those.
pops back in for another scenario,
Yeah, completely unaware of what happened elsewhere, and maybe not even the same character, just a different version.
Yeah. Like that sort of fun stuff.
Yep.
Uh so this also might be an obvious question, but like what got you into Vore?
Uh, yeah, I think I answered that with the whole cartoons thing.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, like everyone knows me for Looney Tunes because that's largely what I draw, then Star Fox and whatnot. But like, um, the first thing that really interested me was Tom and Jerry, and I
Oh,
just don't draw
okay.
them anymore, which is I don't know why. I'm just not interested in them anymore.
Well, it could just be that you've got more interest in what you're doing now.
Yeah, 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 likely.
Yeah, or like I was gonna say cartoons because
Oh,
like
definitely.
the one of the biggest influences that I can say for mine is like an old cartoon called A Day at the Zoo, and I
Hmm.
bring that up like all the dang time. Like I can remember, like it was probably one of the first things I ever saw, and it was just like I don't know why I like this, but I really like it when the lion eats like the annoying guy
Uh
who's been like
huh.
pestering the lion the whole time, and then it ends with the guy being eaten,
Uh
and
huh.
then it fades out, and that's the end. I'm just like, oh my goodness, what is going on?
If I remember correctly, that has one of my favorite tropes that I don't use often enough, which is the lion gets asked if he's seen somebody, shakes his head no, and then points into his mouth, and you see the guy's eyes in the lion's throat. The guy says, "I've been a bad boy," and then the lion closes his mouth.
Yeah, and then a really big slurp of his lips as it pinholes
Yeah,
out, and just like,
exactly.
oh goodness.
Yep.
Yeah, you know exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. I mean, we grew up on largely the same things. I think you're a little younger than me, but not that much. Yeah.
I mean, I'm about to be 30. I'm guessing you're probably like within 5 years older.
Yep. Exactly. 5 years older.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had a lot of classic cartoon VHSs growing up. I didn't watch a whole lot of other cartoons.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on from that, are you into any other kinks?
Yeah, a little bit. Like micro macro, I guess is a lot of fun. Although I almost exclusively pair that with Vore stuff. Um, yeah, you want to go on with that?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like the next question would have been, do you combine them with War? And it's like, well, yeah, macro micro really lends itself well to that because it's like all of a sudden the other person's the size of a Kit Kat bar.
Exactly. Yeah. Plus, like, there's benefits to that and same size stuff. Like with micro macro, it's a lot more intimate. You get to see a lot more of what's happening to the character being eaten. And like the in like the insides are a lot more visually explicit in that kind of stuff. Whereas same size is more like carnal, visceral. It's much more about like the domination aspect that I know a lot of people like.
Yeah,
So
because same size you could like I hesitate to use the word realistically, but if you were in that situation, like you would think you would be able to get out a lot easier than micro macro,
Yeah,
where it's like you're at the bottom of a gigantic, like fleshy tunnel that's made to push you downwards. Like, how are you going to get out of that?
yeah. Good luck, have fun.
Yeah. And then is there anything else really? I can't think of much that I've seen in your work.
Bondage is an interesting one that I very
Oh
rarely do,
yeah.
but yeah, it's something that's I used to draw it like just on its own a little bit. Um, lately I haven't. I don't know. It's just whatever the hell my whim is. But
Yeah.
it is an interesting thing, and I guess it has that whole like put in a compromised, vulnerable position thing going on that Vore does.
Well, yeah, I was also going to say, like, I would say peril almost might be a factor in there too.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that's a kink I've been trying to figure out an exact definition of, but like it's definitely a factor in my work, and I would say in yours too. Just like
Yeah,
being in the compromised position and like in a very dangerous spot, like someone's stomach.
yeah, pretty much. Like I think I don't know if this is like accurate or not, but I think one of the biggest draws to sexuality in general is just that vulnerability because it's so intimate. And that's why people like nudity and whatnot as well. Is just like this person is not protected. They're completely vulnerable. They're completely either in a trusting situation or they're in a compromised situation, depending on what kind of power dynamics you like. It's kind of why people like BDSM and whatnot. I think it's just there's that weird interest there, and somehow our wires happen to get crossed and mix it with food.
Yeah, like oh boy, there's all sorts of angles that you could take that. Like
Yeah,
that sort of thing in general. Like it could be a power thing on account of the person who's in the compromised position, like because they're powerful enough to be in that position. Or it could be making yourself helpless, or it's like a trust thing of the other person, or it's like, yeah, there's all those things that I'm like, I can immediately think of like a Vorish parallel
hmm
where I've seen that sort of thing expressed in Vore as well as like just in standard porn.
yeah. Like there's a lot of honestly, if you look at Vorish stuff and you compare it to porn, there are a lot of analogs. There's a lot of tropes. Like you have money shots in normal porn, and you absolutely have money shots in Vore. Like I know this is kind of weird to talk about on a stream like this, but we're talking about Vore, so like it's a weird stream.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I would be saying more. It's just like I don't actually know much about like normal porn.
oh, I
It's
don't
like
either.
it's
I'm
like I
just
stick
aware
around
of it.
I stick around
Yeah.
furry Vore circles. I don't know what porn
Yeah.
is.
I mean,
Yeah,
it seems to be a lot of what we do, pretty
yeah.
much. That's why we're here. We all love war, you
Yeah,
know.
like I've never willingly watched porn because I'm actually like technically I'm asexual, which
You
is
know, that's what Jesh, oh, I forgot.
Jeschke.
Jeschke.
Jeschke. Fucking yeah. Anyway, that's what we were talking about. Like I was saying, I'm not a sexual person. I'm not really into that aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's very close. It's very intimate and personal.
Yep.
And that's what I appreciate, I guess. Is like, that aspect of it. So I get that.
Yeah. And like I think um so I haven't looked at this stuff myself, but I am aware of it just because it's so inundated in culture and what people say and stuff. And so I've figured out a whole bunch of the terms and stuff, and that's how I even know what the hell a money shot is, because we call them maw shots.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I was
Yeah.
thinking money shot could also be the person inside the stomach. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean that's another version of it for sure. I was
Okay,
just making a joke.
I need to Google what a money shot is because I'm really embarrassing.
Uh, it's basically a close up on person coming or
Oh,
that
okay,
kind of
I should
stuff.
stop looking it up.
Yeah, you
Alright.
probably don't want to look that up too much.
Thanks for telling me at the last second.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I'm like, get this
Just about
Sunny
to
in
press on
Philadelphia music ready. Like, Crunchy learns about money shot.
Yeah, it's like hold on. How
Oh,
about I don't send you to a place you don't want to be?
that was close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
No, I'm like, if you
Hey,
think
by the
about
way,
the
donate
various,
to Doctors Without Borders, everyone.
yeah,
Oh, hey, yeah, everyone. Still, it would be super cool if you donated.
Yep.
That's my cool catchphrase.
Heck yeah.
It's not a catchphrase,
Yeah.
but
It's
just
totally a
please do it.
catchphrase. It's what you say every day.
That's
How
my
you sign onto
day.
your streams.
I'll be at work and then I'll be saying bye to everyone, and then I'm like, please don't forget to donate to Doctors and Borders, everyone.
Yeah.
See you later.
Go over to this Vore stream link, by the way, right now and donate there.
Heck yeah.
I have them on little business cards, and I give them to all my coworkers.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
I was gonna say though, like as far as like the money shots and Vore sort of thing, you could almost look at what people tend to commission. Like if you have someone with a very like full belly that's showing it off, it's like,
Oh
well,
yeah.
that's kind of I don't know if that would be a money shot or just like a pinup or whatnot, or like
Yeah, that's probably closer to a pinup. The money shot would be like a close up on the character belching.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Or I was thinking like
typically they're used in sequences.
yeah, or like the internals.
Yeah, that would do it too.
I was going to argue like the Vore equivalent of a money shot would be like a scene of digestion, but I mean,
Yeah, it could be.
Well, yeah, it's like, but there's people that aren't into digestion, and for them, like the money shot would definitely be them inside the stomach.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, like some people are into a real money shot, so
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's that too. Yeah. Now the money shot is basically just like whatever that person is most interested in gets a strong focus.
I guess not to like use loaded language, but it would be like the climax of the scene.
Yeah.
I mean, like
yeah.
I don't necessarily mean climax where someone like gets off. I just
Right.
mean like it's what the scene has been building up to emotionally, and like you've hit the most satisfying point, and like it's all just kind of like down from there. Like the pred goes off to sleep, or like
Yeah.
the prey starts to sleep,
Basic
or like
story
digestion
structure.
happens.
Yeah,
The
I mean, it doesn't
literary-
just happen
it's
in
like
text.
the
You see it in movies.
rising action, and then like it
Yeah,
hits the biggest thing.
exposition.
Yeah.
Or like
Alright.
Anubis says, like belching up clothing or bones would be the money shot. It's
Yep.
like, yeah, I could totally get with that too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the literary climax, I guess.
Yeah. That reminds me of a time when I like forgot to put belches in Vore audio, and people were like, what are you doing?
Fuck is your problem?
And I was like,
Why
I
would
don't
you
know,
not
what am
add
I
that?
doing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm missing like one of the most important parts to some people.
Yeah.
Including myself, like the money shot, which is the huge belch. Like
I can't believe you. Can't believe you'd forget that.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I can take or leave belches. Like,
oh yeah.
they're fun, but they're not it. They're not like everything. They can be replaced by like a dabbing of the lips, or like
a
licking of the lips.
A coughing up of a fur ball, perhaps.
Yeah, that'd do it too.
Yeah, those are good. I appreciate those.
Yeah, like all of that stuff is just it serves the same purpose, but it does it in different ways.
Yeah.
I've heard like, you know, belching isn't really my thing, but I've heard like people like replace like the belch with like hiccups, and
Yeah.
honestly, like that's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's a very common cartoon trope. I know Gerbiger really likes that, if you're aware of him.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, Gerbiger also likes like causing stomach aches.
Yes, very much so.
Which
yeah, people are into weird stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, that's
that's
just all part of the fun of Vore being so crazy and all over the place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like the only downside is if I'm in a very particular mood and some people are into like people are into the complete opposite, then it's like, well, shoot, I'm just gonna enjoy this myself quick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
For
all right.
Sure.
Heck, I've forgotten what question we left on. Did I ask you what would you say are some influences in your work? Did I ask you that, or is that the next one?
You did not.
Okay, yeah. Well, what would you say are some influences in your work besides Looney Tunes?
Okay, so as far as like Vore stuff goes, learning how to do the interesting things that are kind of exclusive to this weird niche fetish. Um, like Carbo was a big one for internals and moshots and stuff like that. Carbo being this giantess guy who has this whole world that people really get into called Filaria. Um, and I would say Cow Nugget was a Cow Nugget was the inspiration for me to like enter the community at all
Oh
because he
yeah,
posted this Lola Bunny thing once, and I'm
he's a
like,
nice
oh
guy.
crap, yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, those are two names that I know have been around for like years, and they still continue to produce work.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
So those are some major influences. Go ahead.
yeah. Oh, I was gonna say like Strega even too.
Yeah, like
there's-
Strega hasn't been an influence, but he's a very influential character in the community. Like he's been around way longer than I have.
Yeah. And I'm over here like everybody's been in there longer than I have. And then Ammo looks over and they're like, "Oh God, everybody's been here."
Nah, you're becoming part of the old guard now, Jit.
Oh yeah, I've already hit the quote unquote gray muzzle status.
Yep,
Isn't that a
pretty
had-
movie
I had
on Netflix?
I don't know, but it's been the term for someone who's been in the furry fandom for like 10 years. And I'm
The
like,
old
yeah,
guard?
oh no, gray muzzle.
Yeah, I know what gray muzzle is. I was really confused for a second. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. No, you can continue. I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I know I hit that point a few years ago, so oh well.
Yup. It's
Oh
fine.
gosh.
Everything's fine.
Well, then that kind of like brings us into the next question, or it brings us into another question, I should say, which is like, especially after this long, like, what is it about being in the community that makes you want to share your work? Or is there something about being in this community that makes you get the urge to make a name for yourself? Or is it just about having fun?
Yes. All of them. So like there's parts of the community that I don't really interact with. I used to interact with everyone a lot more because it was such a small community. Everybody kind of just it was like a small town rather than the bustling city that it is now. Um, but like nowadays, I just kind of have my own group of friends that I hang with. And as far as posting stuff goes, I don't know, I enjoy sharing my work and having people enjoy it. It's it feels nice. Like it feels like I'm doing something good, even though it's just dumb fetish material.
Yeah, I getcha. I mean, I mostly just do stuff for the fun of it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, people want to pay money to see more. So it's
I
like,
mean,
well,
I love money. So I mean, if
Yeah.
you like, if someone offers you money, it's like, yeah, accept it.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I love Vore. You know, it's like it's kind of like a win-win situation right there.
Yeah, it's true. No, it is actually my living at the moment. And it may be for the rest of my life, who knows? But like I used to be a teacher, but I'm not a disciplinarian. And so I can't handle teaching large groups of people, especially those who don't want to be there. Um, so I
Yeah.
got I wasted about I'd say 7 years of my life on schooling and about 4 years of my life on the actual profession itself.
University
And
or high school or
oh
what?
yeah, I was teaching. I taught middle school,
Okay.
8th graders. That
Okay.
was an absolutely miserable experience.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then I taught an alternative school, which was a branch of the high school, the local high school.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
actually enjoyed that job. Alternative schools are for kids who, for one reason or another, can't make it in a normal school. And I actually enjoyed that job, but I was being paid as a para educator, so it was like $12 an hour, which at the end
Yeah.
of a month, if I got lucky and saved everything that I had about $200 left over every month. Um, so that
Jeez.
was not worth it, and so I decided to go get my master's. Then once I got my master's, I couldn't find a job, and I subbed for a while, which also paid crap. And then I just realized that I don't like the public school system. So I don't know, and I couldn't find a private place that would take me either. So I stopped, and then I joined the post office. That didn't work. Now my feet are completely screwed up, and hopefully not permanently. And
Okay.
now I'm just drawing Vore cartoons for weirdos on the internet.
You know
Yeah.
what? Those weirdos love it.
Oh,
It makes them
yeah.
happy.
Yeah, and I'm one of them.
Yeah,
Like, I
we're
am
all
not
weird.
excluding myself from
I
this.
think we're all weirdos here, pretty much.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
You know what? I like expressing that. I like expressing it to everyone. And looks like someone else donated. I saw the number go up.
Oh, sweet.
Need to see who it is. It's okay. So there's Cyrus G. I
Uh-huh.
appreciate the donation. And then Becky, fuck you. I need you to leave, please. Thanks.
Sorry,
Someone
who's,
you know.
who's Becky? I hope
That's
it's
my
someone
real
you
life.
know.
That's my real life friend.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha.
That I
That's
met in
great.
high school. So hey Becky, how you doing?
And I know Cyrus.
Why are you here? But regardless, thanks for the $20 or $20. I appreciate you helping us support this, and I love you. Visit me sometime soon. Cyrus G, I appreciate the $20 as well. That's okay. Continue your conversation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I remember the point at which you were just like, I'm done with all this school and other stuff. I'm just gonna draw.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say maybe 2 years ago, maybe
well,
longer.
the school stuff I dropped in 2016.
Yeah, then again, I didn't know about the post office stuff, so
Yeah.
maybe it's more like a year or two.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since the post office. But yeah, that's my life. That's a weird life, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anything, I'm excited for the cartoon to be a thing because
Yeah.
that's like, oh, that's just like another sign of how big or like how big the fandom has gotten. Like,
Yeah.
when you get huge projects that people do like that.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's something that I probably would have wound up doing on my own sort of eventually, but like that would have required all of my time, all of my free time in addition to whatever job I was doing. And so I'm really glad that I can actually have a set schedule based on funding now.
Yeah.
Like it's still not exactly where I want it to be. I'd like to be able to animate this kind of dumb stuff full time, but like that ain't happening yet. But like yeah, as far as the way it is now, it's a good mix of that and commissions.
Yeah. And then that kind of well, what we were talking about almost leads into the next question I was going to ask, which is like, being around as long as you have you noticed a lot of change within the fandom? Like, how so?
Yes and no. Like people are more fractured now, not in a I want to kill everybody who isn't me kind of way. It's more like people just have their own niches in the community. But like the way it hasn't changed is more like people are still having the same sort of weird little squabbles now and then whenever they run into each other and things happen that they don't like.
Yeah,
There's
digestion
still
versus endo, or
oh
like
yeah
cock for
or
is a sin.
right or male preds are terrible and somehow sexist, like that kind of stuff. Um, like yeah, there's just there's all that sort of thing that's still going on, and I think it'll just go on just because people like to like quarrel. It's I don't know. You got to have an enemy somewhere, and when you don't have a major enemy to fight, you got to make one.
Yeah,
So.
well, because people can express themselves like or get tied up with like emotionally with what they see, and
Yeah.
then when they run into something that they don't like or like something that they take in a different way, then it's like immediate response is to just feel really like you dislike it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is most of the quarrels that happen is because people have gut reactions, say something they probably shouldn't have. Other person responds with a gut reaction, and then both sides are just kind of like yelling at each other, digging their heels in further and further.
Yeah, and then I'm like, and then someone like retweets the first person on Twitter and says, "Look at this dumbass," and then everybody goes crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Twitter's like been an exponentially worse thing for public discussion in most areas.
I mean, it kind of expedites the whole process though, because then
Yeah.
everybody gets it out of their system really quickly, and then it's gone again.
But then they move on to the next thing.
I mean, to be fair, we're a very drama-filled community a lot of the
Yeah.
Oh
time.
yeah, there's a lot of people like I know I definitely discovered my sexuality like coming out in the furry fandom,
hmm
being like, I think I discovered that like gay people existed because of the furry community. Like I was very sheltered growing up, and like maybe there would be like a gay panic scene in a movie or something, but like
Right.
but then when it came to like furry stuff, then it's like people were just openly doing it and like writing stories about coming out, and I'm like, oh wow.
I gotta say that ultimately, I dated a girl for about 5 years, and I also kept my love of Vore very secret at the time because I was terrified of anyone knowing.
Yeah.
But as I started to get into the Vore community and seeing seeing that this was something that I really liked, I felt more comfortable being able to be myself, which in turn allowed me to be able to come out and say like hey, I'm gay. And so I mean the Vore community definitely helped me feel comfortable with who I am as a person, and knowing that like learning to accept myself and not give in to like the societal norms that doing this or like liking Vore or being gay or anything like that, it can be bad, and it's
Yeah,
it
where
helps me feel comfortable.
or it's like I'm imagining it's like if you come out in like if you were to come out of a Vore chat room and just be like, I think I really like guys, and like people just come up and just be hey, uh hey, do you like me as a Vore dad? Like let's get you comfy and like explore some of this stuff. Also, yeah, I'm noticing on screen we were talking a bit about Vore and sexuality and like expression of identity, and like I remember Herrick said they want to do a slideshow of this. I'm sure they have a name, but their username is NNN4462,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they've definitely done like a fair bit of like expression of identity through their Vore stuff, which is almost like I don't want to say it's like it makes me think they're like new to the fandom, but that might not be true at all.
I
But
have no
like,
idea. I've seen them around, but I cannot remember how long I've seen them around.
yeah, but like, I mean, furry along with Vore stuff and just like fetish art in general, like it's definitely not reality. So people can just start like they can play around with their identity. They can play around with like what they appear as the world. Or
Yeah.
like me, for instance, I was like, oh, okay, like I've got this like squirrel sona. Now, what if I started exploring some really weird fashion stuff with this? Because I based his outfit on the fact that I wear a black shirt and jeans. And I'm just like, what if I just had him wear some like really out there stuff? And I'm like totally willing to bet that like I could start exploring being more outward with like the fetish stuff and the furry stuff that I get, and then that would then reflect on me in real life and like make me more comfortable to be out and about, like wearing shorts, for instance, because I never wear shorts. 'Cause I don't love my legs, stuff like that.
Do you wear jorts?
Or I could go for some jorts,
Yeah.
or like like wearing like a shirt that has like the pride flag on it or something. Like
Yeah.
I could never do that around my parents, but like, or like I would feel weird doing that in public just because I'm like very reserved like that. But like,
You're more
yeah,
you think maybe this can lead to you becoming more open and like able to turn eyes without feeling weird about it.
yeah, because it's like
Turn
it's
eyes.
just like a safe, secluded, isolated space to just like explore some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing the irony of me saying that as you have like Samantha, like her clothes are starting to digest off her body in your art, but
Yeah, it's I mean, it's
Whatever.
design choices, style choices,
yeah,
Stylistic.
even if they're imposed upon you.
yeah. Also, side note, thanks Rufflick for the $20
Oh,
donation.
Ooh,
Rufflick,
nice.
he's a pal.
He says
I
nom
know them.
which
He's a pretty good
yeah.
pal. Yeah.
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 No, I
Yeah.
think like you guys hit the nail on the head there. And I'm not even sure why I didn't think of this myself, but yeah, like that's one of the things I like most about these weird communities is that like it makes you much more able to share who you are, or at the very least explore interesting things that you didn't know about yourself before. Because like we're already outcasts, and so it kind of there's no reason not to explore interesting things. Like obviously you don't want to start doing harmful things because of it, but like as far as like e- exploration of just like identity and even just do I like this? Check. No, I don't. Oh well, at least I tried it. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot more encouraged here.
Or you can like explore more horrible, horrific thing.
Yeah.
You know, like hard Vore, or even just being digested or whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's like,
And
I think
obviously you don't want to explore that in real life, but like there are things from this that you can translate to your real life, and it might grow your confidence.
Yeah, totally. Or it just kind of like helps you give the confidence to be like, oh, okay, I'm not actually screwed up or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was kind of lucky because my family's pretty open about things, and like accepting of weird shit, even if they're not necessarily into it. And so like I never thought, oh, I'm the only one in the world who has this. When I discovered the internet, it was like, okay, I know I'm not the only one. Let's see some other people. What is this called? Oh, Vore? Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I'll keep looking this term up now instead of like blah blah eating blah blah. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like,
So
yeah,
yeah, I got lucky there.
I'm just like imagining all the possibilities. Like,
Oh god,
man,
it was hard.
there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
Like, I really think when I think it's like I'm remembering something that happened years and years ago. It's like I think when I first found Vore stuff, I just like had no idea. Like I had no understanding of why I liked something at all.
Hmm.
It was just sort of like very instinctual. Like I can't stop looking at all this. Like
Yeah, there's a fascination.
like people like there's a person sticking out of someone's like lower bits. Like that. Oh my god, they're so lewd, and they're all animal people, and yeah, things just went crazy from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or then like when I first found out like Pokemon Vore was a thing, or what I was just like,
What?
oh,
Pokemon Vore?
Pokemon.
Like a whole new
Really?
world.
There's canon Pokemon Vore now.
I've never seen
yeah.
that before. Not
Yeah,
that I
and,
have
like,
never
all these
drawn
people
it.
that have been around for a while, just like chilling and doing all this stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel that. Yeah. Totally.
All right,
So I hear that Humbug also has a Let's Play channel.
Yeah, that
from,
is
like, the
correct.
show.
It has
So
absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about now, or Vore or anything like that. But yes,
well,
yeah,
I
it's called.
guess we might as well talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
video games. We're talking about like Vore that didn't exist, or like canon
Did
Pokemon
yes.
Vore. Pokemon's a video game. You have
There
a
you
video
go.
game channel. Yeah.
There's our transition. Perfect.
Oh,
Flawless.
okay.
This production is easily
Good.
the most professional I've ever
I
seen.
was well. See, I wasn't sure if the conversation was done, mainly because I super zoned out. Not because it was like uninteresting or anything. I'm really out of it, like hardcore. But yeah, no, to definitely a good transition. Just please believe me.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
you have a Let's Play channel.
Yes. It's called Magebug Plays. Now you could, I think, just searching in YouTube you can find it easily enough. Yeah, I play it with my roommate currently. We didn't start as roommates, but like, yeah, a friend of mine.
Did you
He goes
become
by.
roommates just to be like Let's Play partners?
Oh, 100%, totally. No, of course not. No, like we knew each other beforehand. He was actually he and I met through that VOCT, the Vore original character tournament that you guys were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
He and I faced each other in the first one, and this is me being a shithead as a young person, but I I noticed his writing style and I parodied it. Oh, I can't speak apparently. I parodied it and I won because I did it better than he did, oddly enough. Which is
dear.
funny because he's a way better writer than I am now. But at the time, like I was able to hone in on that kind of stuff and be like, okay, I see what you're doing, and I'm going to make it worse. I'm going to make it worse / better. So I actually wound up winning that round. But like he was really happy that I did exactly what I did because it showed him exactly where the flaws were in his writing, and he has since become way better than he used to be. But yeah, like that's how we first met, and then at one point he's like, "Hey, you want to do this? You want to do this Let's Play channel? I'm going to call it Furries Playing with Themselves." It's like, oh, that sounds amazingly terrible. I think we should do this.
I am
And so
all
we
for
did.
amazingly terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my
Later on, he decided that maybe that wasn't the best channel name, so we changed it to Magebug Plays. I can't imagine what his reasoning was.
I mean, if you were trying to get anywhere with it, then you would probably not want to call it,
Yeah.
furries playing with themselves.
No, I think you're probably right. But yeah, that was what happened, and we've done a whole bunch of stuff. It's still a ridiculously small channel, like I think just a little over 100 subscribers, but we have fun and we just do it every now and then. We try to make it weekly, but sometimes things just get in the way. And
You know what
yeah,
you have to do? You have to like let's play specifically Vore games.
oh
And that's
shit,
God.
we did.
Really?
We did very recently.
oh, you
Um,
did.
I don't even know
Yeah,
there were
you
that
know
many to
that
play.
that thing done by retail. It was called
Oh,
Snackdown.
Snackdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did Snackdown. Uh-oh, Eric's showing our
Yeah.
terrible Let's Play.
I was gonna say there is a Vore game for
Yep.
you. Sonic just got vored by that turbine
That's
engine.
true. Sonic gets vored by like the Void. He's a terrible creature, and I hate him forever.
Oh my god, that was so aggressive towards Sonic. What did he
Sonic the
do to
Hedgehog is the
you?
worst character in the universe, right next to Knuckles the Echidna.
Oh.
What about Shadow the Hedgehog? How do you feel about him?
Meh.
Hey, what's this game?
This
Really?
I mean, he's at least fun because he's like
No,
so
Yeah.
Oh,
stuff like
Oh,
that.
he's a
Yeah.
hilarious meme. No, I am very much being facetious in my hatred of these characters, but I really don't like Sonic games. Like I think they're all pretty
Oh,
terrible.
they're so
Oh,
fucking
no.
buggy.
I know,
Like,
hot
it's
take.
really hard to.
Yeah, exactly. Like-
It's so
Yeah.
hard to play them sometimes. I wanna, but it's like I can't at the same time.
Like the 2D ones are better than the 3D ones, but the 2D ones are still like I do not find them fun at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask about Snackdown then because
Yeah.
like I mean to kind of launch into a different topic, but just like people making Vore like in lots of different types of media.
Hmm.
Like you know, when I first started out there'd be like stories and art and maybe animations every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
I'm thinking like
rarely.
way back when like people would render videos and have to do them in like 240p or
Mhm.
even less because like there just wasn't the bandwidth for them.
Right.
But you know, over time there's been like more RPG maker games. There's been like you know, not to toot my own horn with sound, but like other games that use like Vore as a mechanic or like just
Mhm.
incorporate it into what they're doing, like Snackdown, for instance,
Yeah.
where like Vore is something that's like it's a penalty for if you lose, but but it's also like a reward for if you win, and like you know, it doesn't really build too much morality into the whole thing, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And honestly, it probably shouldn't. Like
Yeah,
that.
that's always the problem with some things like that. It's like you don't want to start trashing people for liking Digestion or something.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think that was actually another thing I like about the whole fantasy aspect is that you can just like you don't have to put your morality into it, which I know is very difficult for some people, to disassociate their real world morality with the fantasy stuff, and I get that. But I think that's part of the fun of it is just like things follow a different logic here, and you can be creative and interesting with it, especially if you're doing cartoony stuff.
No, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
or
my degree is in animal science and breeding genetics, and
Mhm.
I did a lot of wildlife conservation and medicine for a part of my degree as well. And so, I really care about animals,
Yeah,
and I really care about living things basically. But when I'm online, it's like it's just like I was saying before, it's just a form of fun. It's just like, fantasy and
yeah,
like
and
weird.
just separating it and like
Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not like, again, I would never do that to an animal in real life or anything like that, but fantasy-wise, separating it and then just kind of messing around on online with something that I love and something that I enjoy seeing just in a fantasy perspective.
yeah.
yeah. Oh, also before I forget, Lapis the I'm guessing it's Lapis the Gar. Oh, the Lapis the Gardevoir donated $20. Said good
Nice.
cause and a pretty fun kink. Definitely sending my support to this charity. Thank you a lot. Hope everyone. Oh, I bumped my mic. I'm sorry. Hope everyone enjoys 8-8 today and be sure to eat a lot. I was like expressing with my hands so hard I just slapped my mic stand.
Cannot believe you.
How dare you?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's why you wouldn't necessarily want to stick morality into stuff just because yeah, people could take it whatever way.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel. Like some people are really big into the whole justice for thing, like where the predator is like a superhero who eats villains and stuff like that. And like that's fine too. I have no problem with that. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, or there's always like the not to get into too much real world stuff, but there's some people that would say like eat X person that's done bad or like eat
Yeah.
X type of people. And
Oh
then it's like, oh
gosh.
wait, since this is a kink and people like being eaten,
Yeah.
it's a little like yeah, it gets way too complicated throwing kinks into stuff sometimes.
Yeah. And like I know I have no room to talk because I'm both a furry and a vorophile, but it's kind of a little cringy.
No, I
Yeah.
get that because it's like, you separate it. Don't bring in real life situations
Yeah.
into it. Like, Vore the guy at school you don't like. It's like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
also
furries.
side note too, by the way, but if you wanted to grab Snackdown or other games, the creator of that also made a site. It's Vord Alive, but Vord.live. And they have that's like it's a whole directory of a whole ton of Vor games, including theirs. So that's a
yeah.
place to grab. That's a place to check out, and also you can grab the game from there.
Yep. And they also did another game called, I think it was called Retail, where you're playing like I can't remember exactly what it was, but some sort of like sandwich vendor, I think, or something like that, and you're supposed to make what the make what the customer wants in a certain amount of time. And of course, in some cases, if you fail, you get consumed and whatnot, like that kind of thing. So that was, I think, something they made before this one.
Ah, now I want to make a
Yeah,
game. I
yeah,
want to
Like
they
they're
make a
obviously
board
like really
game.
amateur, but they're silly and fun. So
yeah, and like to be fair, there's even more amateur things where you just get an RPG Maker game where you have a Vor ending scene for losing a battle,
yeah, that's true.
and there's no other gameplay. It's just an RPG, but Vor. Like I really like seeing how people can incorporate Vor into their works, like not necessarily just as a loss thing, but like as a mechanic, perhaps.
Yeah,
But that can also get really tricky.
yeah. Like especially if you try to add weight gain and you change the character's physics. It's like, oh wow, this is really cool idea, but how do you do it?
Yeah. I
Especially
had one thought of a game based around that once, but I haven't done anything with it.
okay.
But I was thinking like of Echidna Wars, I think was the name of it, where like most of the enemy's attacks would grapple you
Hmm.
and then like take away a bunch of your willpower. And then if your willpower got to 0, then they would eat you, and then that would do HP damage. And it was more just like
Huh.
extended attacks hitting you as opposed to like it was built into the core gameplay as opposed to just being a win-loss thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I've seen some, like, there are some games that are like hentai games, but they feature Vore pretty heavily, and they do that kind of thing as well.
Yeah. But if a game can like build it into the story or even the mechanics, maybe
Yeah.
like Snackdown, like part of the whole story is that like Vore is the thing that happens in the ring, and
Hmm.
like you can sort of build it into like whether you're going to be like the top pred that eats everybody and people want to see lose, or if you're going to be gracious and like maybe let people stay around or whatnot.
Hmm. Yeah, you let him go, and you become a little bit better of a person on the morality scale in that game. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is, strangely enough, that's what I did on my playthrough. Not in that, not in the channel, but like just on my first playthrough by myself. That's what I did because, oddly enough, I don't like playing a villain in video games, even though
Oh
I'm a
no.
terrible person in my artistry.
Well, I actually totally went for all digestion the first time I played it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Like, which actually kind of messed with it because the game is a mechanic where you have to pay money to do a fight, and then if
Mhm.
you win, you get money. But if you digest the person that you fight for free, then you can't get free money anymore for beating him.
Yeah,
So you can kind of lock yourself out of the game on
I
accident
was
with that.
wondering if that would happen or if they would like bump up the tiers and make the next person free. But oh boy, yeah, that's an unfortunate oversight.
Yeah, but that just means I had to be top pred and eat everybody,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
Oh,
Totally, yeah.
and we have another $20 donation from Me the Me.
Oh,
They say fun stream for a good cause,
nice.
which thank you.
Did we have any other people like who are going to be interviewed on this? I feel like I'm dominating things.
Well, let's see. We've talked to Emo already, and we've talked to oh god, I was gonna call him Cuddles. Victor.
Yeah,
Oh god.
I mean, HDF.
We might have someone else coming in, but it might just be us chatting now for a
Okay.
while.
Because like pretty soon I'm gonna have to head off anyway, but I'm just making sure that I'm not like completely going over my limits here.
Oh yeah, no worries. You're
Okay.
fine for as long as you want to stick around for now, and then we'll
Yeah,
probably keep chatting for a while afterwards until we find some sort of stopping point or whatnot.
seems legit.
We've been going for about 2.5 hours.
Something like that. Yeah, since, yeah, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, so we might go for the rest of the hour or for a little bit more or something like that.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I've
but
got about 10 minutes, so
okay,
Yeah.
well,
just
10 minutes
FYI.
then.
God, I thought you were
Shoot,
gonna interview me too, so I was like,
I could
Interview Crunchy.
Do it.
Okay, I'm like
God.
out of the
Oh
things that
no.
I wrote down to talk about with Humbug. Okay, maybe this is a good one. What's your animation process like, or your technique, so to say?
Oh, here, let me pull something up real quick.
I mean, because it's something we haven't gotten to talk about yet, but just the rise of animation, and you're one of the few people that does 2D animation,
Yeah,
and you're one of the few people that hasn't jumped into 3D animation, which a lot of people are doing right now.
yeah. Like I have no idea if 3D is easier or not. So this is how Clip Studio's animation stuff works. Uh, oh yeah, you're probably not quite there yet, but we'll get there.
Oh,
Um,
I'm watching your stream. Don't worry.
oh, okay, cool. So here's the gist of what I do. I start with a thing for backgrounds, which would be this, doing that. Um, and then I have the characters do stuff in those backgrounds. So we're going to go here-ish. So this is where the characters are. Obviously, most of the animation itself is done with the character stuff. And I use the onion skin thing. Like you can see that blue outline of the previous frame. It really helps a lot keeping things proportional and in the correct spot so they're not wobbling all over the place.
Yeah,
Uh,
but do you hand draw every frame?
Mostly. Sometimes I'll duplicate them, like this one, starting about there ish. That's the same frame as the previous frame. It's just that I've made these lines go further and whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
but
pull this
that's more because
there.
like stylistically they're not going to move anyway.
Yeah, that's also true. But then there's like this stuff. I made that paint can, or sorry, I made the brush drip. But like you'll notice that right here, the dragon's arms, um, they're the only things moving. The like the rest of it, the wings and the head and the tail and whatnot aren't moving. So I try to take shortcuts when I'm able, but then like all of these frames here were redrawn hand by or done by hand because that's the only way I can get fluid, non-choppy movement in a 2D style.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not some Family Guy cut and paste stuff.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I don't do voiceover stuff very much, so I don't even have the ability to make people just sit and talk to each other, because that's the easiest way to animate is just having people sit there and like say things and move their lips a little bit. But yeah, it ultimately winds up looking kind of like this.
Yeah.
I guess I should also say that in here, I try to keep to about 16 frames per second. So I go to the timeline and go to change frame rate, and that's 16 there. So that means that in this timeline, you can see there's a 3 at the top here, which is blocked by the 49 there, but there's a 4 there, and then in between that is going to be 16 frames. And so getting a feel for um, how much movement you can conceivably do for the pace that you want the characters to be moving at is a little, I think that's more of an art than a science, but there are sciences to animation as well. Like
Oh yeah.
the hardest stuff, I think, is the slow animation. Uh, Let me pull up, see, which one was it?
You mean like
Thing.
if you're animating something slow or like a small object moving?
Like basically anything slow. Yeah, the small object moving is just whatever. It's pretty easy. But like, I think this is the one. Make sure. Okay, there's that. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so pop that over there. This head tilt took like an hour.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and it was just like, look at all of the frames involved, and it's slow. And even then, I duplicated a couple of the frames. Uh,
Gotcha.
oh, I see me thanking me for suggesting Clip Studio. Yeah, no problem. It's a very helpful program. But yeah, it's just like, here, I guess I can show you guys this stuff too. This is very exclusive shit.
Yeah, you never see this. Not even if you go to his stream and watch,
Yeah, yeah,
which
like
you
Yeah.
totally should and could.
you absolutely
Yeah.
can. So yeah, that's that particular part. Like you could see that on my Gumroad, but obviously you have to pay money to go to my Gumroad. So whether you want to do that or not, entirely up to you. I'm not even gonna like state what it is, because that seems like shilling just a little bit too much in a charity stream. But like, yeah, it's that's the gist of how I do animations is just frame by frame when I have to, duplicate when I don't.
Yeah, because it's just that intensive. Like I can't even imagine. It's like sometimes I think I go a little too crazy with like sound processing and all that, but just like, oh goodness, drawing frame by frame stuff. It's got to be crazy.
I can assure you that you are every bit as much of a perfectionist as I am, having seen your streams. It's
Yeah,
just you have a different
it's
you have a
just that I
different
I don't have to
medium.
take 4 hours to do 3 seconds.
That's true.
That
That is true.
that's just like, oh goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I need to head off. So
Oh, is it
thanks
time?
for having me. Yeah, it's 8:30. I got an Iron Claw game to play with some friends.
All right. Well, thanks for coming around, Humbug,
Yeah.
and talking about animation and all that other fun stuff.
Yep.
It was
Thanks for
it
having
was
me.
it was great to pick your brain for a while.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Well, see y'all later, and I'm glad we've been as successful as we have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice hearing from you. I don't know who you are, but you sound pretty cool. So
Thank
my
you. You
God,
too.
Crunchy.
yeah, oh my God. Well, it's fucking. I don't know. Okay.
You're supposed to be an
Hey,
organizer.
don't worry, it's the same for me too. I don't know anyone else here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I mean,
fine. All right.
he's
See you
cool,
guys.
We're all-
Humbug. He's been around
We're all
forever.
meeting
See
each other.
See ya, Humbug.
Bye.
All right. See ya. Thanks for talking.
Yeah. All right. Now, what are we getting up to next? I think
Torturing
we're-
Crunchy.
Yeah, I think we're gonna talk to Crunchy for a little bit
Ah,
more.
Fuck.
Even though we
Okay.
talked a little bit more, or we taled like a fair bit at the
I
beginning.
guess Herrick
You're
was
welcome,
talking
Crunchy.
about how we should talk about like like running Discord servers
Oh my gosh.
or because Ami is here. He's one of my co-owners.
Hi, I'm Amyas.
Shut the fuck. Anyway, so hold on a second. But yeah, I mean something like that. I'm not really sure. You can ask any questions.
Well, okay. So just to start off, like, who are you and what do you do? I mean, I know that's
I'm-
obvious since I know you, but like everybody out there might not know you.
Yeah, I kind of oh Rufflick. Oh, anyway, so I'm kind of my name is Crunchy. My character's a Sableye. Nothing really exciting about that because it's just basically a regular Sableye with round eyes. I did that stylistically because I was really lazy, and someone was like, "Oh my gosh, I really love how you gave your Sableye opal eyes." And by the way, Sableye is a Pokemon. And I was like, "Yeah, thanks. Totally meant to do that." So then that's just kind of how it happened forever. I run a Discord server called Chompers. It's a decently sized Vore server that I've been running for about 4 years now.
Oh yeah,
And-
I've heard of Chompers before. I think I've stopped in there once or
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah, I saw
It's
you
like
in
I
there a
keep
long time ago.
I keep meaning to stop into the Space Station 13 server, but just
Yeah,
like,
it became a lot bigger recently, so you should check it out.
I'm actually the server host for that.
Yeah.
It's
He has a
Oh.
lot of
there was a
fun.
big nightmare with that today.
yeah, no, Atomic Fusion, we're not ending quite yet. Just Humbug is done. So we're moving on to the next person, which in this case is Crunchy. But yeah, you run Discord server. Which is Chomper.
Yes. Sorry, I have someone else also coming, so it might be extended for a little bit more the stream, just because he's really good for an interview, and also he's gonna be streaming art as well in the
Cool.
stream. So just to kind of have more going on for people. So
So what you're
I
saying
just-
is like you're not important at all. We're gonna get your friend in here, right?
I mean, because
Crunchy's trying to dodge from the mic.
shut the fuck up, Amias. Okay, just
Tell them
give
all
me a
about
moment.
Chompers, Crunchy.
Yeah, talk about Chompers because it's a big community, right?
Yeah, we have about 1,250 people right now, and
Is
so
that
I mean,
is
you know,
that inside or outside guts?
It's split. It's split.
it's. I mean, you know, I was looking at the demographics, and we got a pretty decently ratioed sort of like pred prey aspect to it.
You can
So
combine the server and condense it down into 700 people.
okay, and it looks like my friend is here. Gonna give him host. Okay, and then Herrick, if you can please put his stream up. But yeah, so you know, it's a Discord server I run. It's been going for 4 years. Didn't expect it to get that large, and it ended up getting more and more people, so that was pretty cool. And then we started the SS13 server a couple years ago. If you know Kona,
I
he
believe so.
was
Yeah.
that bird.
Yeah. Oh man, that guy's.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait a second. I think that's the bird that's giving me like nuclearis at MFF.
yeah.
I'm like,
He's
that's where my brain goes. I'm like, wait a second. Yeah.
he was my roommate for 4 years, but pretty much, yeah. So he was the one that pretty much started the SS13 section, and it's been growing ever since. So,
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah.
Mike, I believe we have our next guest in the call now. That would
Hi.
be. Do you want to be called Bleep Boy or is it Red Noodle Ink?
You can go by the Discord name, or you can go by Red Noodle. You can go by Draxy Nerd. Usually, it's more common that people call me Nerd because of the goat, since it's kind of like the meal of the choice at this point.
I gotta say, I've talked to you for so long now, but I never know what to call you because you have so many names. I'm really scared to say one. You're just gonna not want to be called that one day.
It's all good. It's like it's kind of become a common occurrence at this point since it's the character's name. There were times I was wondering about changing his name, but now at this point, I don't. It's just there. It's just ingrained. But yeah.
At least your names are all easy to pronounce. Because I've had Jeschke for ages, but everyone always says Jaceki or Jesh. I'm
Yeah, when
like,
it comes,
no, I'm kind of like appropriating like the German SCH thing, and I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, when it comes to getting called by X or X name, it's just it tends to be confusing because you have friends that will call you in one way and other friends that will call you in another way,
Oh,
and
completely, yeah. And then there are the
because
friends that'll eat you, and then there's the friends that want to be eaten by you.
yeah,
Yeah.
it gets a little confusing at times. It's hard, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, believe me, for the pronunciation thing, I've had people call me ammo, ammo, ammunition.
all
It's
right.
all over the place.
No one can get Omnius right. Everyone calls me Amos.
Oh boy.
I've only ever had one person refer to me as Tiger. That's the weird thing.
That's like the last part of your name, and it's not even capitalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tigers are hot, so maybe that's why they're just like Tiger.
Oh
That's
yeah.
true. I
The
forgot.
weird thing is though, like I have Tiger in my name. I'm not a furry though.
Yeah. I don't
Well-
know. It's okay. There's some people called Tiger that are not furry. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I've never seen them, but you never know.
Yeah.
So
At any
yeah.
rate, though, Red, I'm just going to call you Red for my own sake.
No
Just
problem.
welcome to the interview and all that, or interview or art stream or whatever. Like, I can interview you if you want. I have some questions that I've been
Nope.
asking everybody.
Yeah,
I
because
mean-
I'm not important.
That
Or you can
embarrassed.
interview if you want, Crunchy.
No, it's too no. I'm fine. It's whatever.
I mean,
no big deal.
that's
Put
what
Crunchy to work.
Crunchy.
Put Crunchy to work.
I mean, I can give you the questions that I've like had prepared too.
How about we have like kind of like a back and forth? Like you ask both of us questions, We can
Okay,
we can cover more ground that way.
Yeah, I can try and ask you both questions when they're relevant, or like, we'll go one or the other or whatnot. So, well, in either case, though, I already asked Crunchy what his name was and what does he do, but like, Red or Noodle Ink or Bleeder or Goat Boy. So what is it that you do? It looks like you do art, but is there anything
Yeah.
else, or is
You mean like other things than than just drawing, or do you mean like?
Oh, I don't know. It's just like, well, what do you do?
If you mean generally, I mean, I am actually a professional animator who is also just on my pastime doing that kind of jam. Whether it's this topic or whether it's a lot of other furry kinks topics really. Like I'm not just I used to be more centric on this, but on just Vore, but that changed eventually. Aside of that, I also do like to play music a lot and play video games. Big gamer time.
I get
Gamer
you.
time.
Yeah, I was
And
like,
just
oh, big gamer time. I got the big gamer in here.
and
Yeah,
just
the
real
big
quick,
gamer.
I'm just gonna remind everyone again for like the 90 fucking time. Just don't forget to donate to Doctors Without Borders through the donation link
Oh,
in the
yeah.
YouTube description.
Always donate.
Please donate
I think
because
it's amazing we're over 3 times the goal.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was a modestly small goal, and
Timber kind of like broke the goal like right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
started the stream and it was like, Timber, what the heck? We've hit the goal already.
yeah, it was gonna be a good 5-minute stream for sure.
Yeah, but I probably should have mentioned it like in between our guests and all that too. But yeah, this is a charity stream. We're raising money for Doctors Without Borders, so donate if you like to.
So
And yeah,
what's the charity for? I'm curious actually.
Doctors Without Borders. Let me pull up like their official statement, just so I don't go
pretty much
misrepresenting
they
them or
they
something.
they are volunteers who go to different countries and then provide their services for catastrophes, or they're like countries that are plagued with violence and civil war, especially in Africa.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So it's,
like
they provide their services for free.
yeah,
Huh.
their Wikipedia page says it's just they're best known for their projects in conflict zones and in countries affected by endemic diseases. So yeah, just Doctors Without Borders. Like I've seen them getting money from like AGDQ a lot.
Huh. A really good cause, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we're just raising money for while we're also just sitting around and talking about like big guts and bellies and stuff.
That's what I've been. That's what I've been told by Crunchy.
It's
before.
like, it's like I would be like, oh, this is so weird. We're doing a Vore stream to raise money for like doctors, but then it's just like, well, the world's crazy right now. This is fine. Who cares?
The world just kind of fucking sucks hardcore right now.
Let's
So
just
we
do
need to
this
stick
absurd
together.
thing. So
yeah.
I mean, why be worried of being a little weird here? Like,
yeah, it's really everything's weird nowadays. Who cares?
I mean, hey, Vore is trending right now on Twitter.
Vore is trending in like so many countries right now. It's crazy.
In Canada here, it is trending at 25K.
Yeah, I saw
It's
that. It's
unbelievable.
fucking wild.
Let
me see how much is trending right now. For me, it's 25.9 in United States.
But like, I've never seen it trend until today. I don't know why today in particular. Like, well,
it's because today is Vore Day.
Everyone's pushing it.
More so this year, but
yeah,
this year people have been. I guess not. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, of course, eventually, one day. But I mean, everyone this year have been a lot more outspoken than they have many years ago. So it's like you have so many people right now expressing their opinions for Black Lives Matters, expressing their opinions over the whole cop situation, everything that's going on with COVID. Everyone's being spoken out about everything right now. So when this comes up, I mean, of course everyone's gonna be outspoken too, and they're gonna want to be proud of who they are. And so everyone this year, despite it being a piece of shit, hard fucking core, like we're all learning to be more accepting with each other, at least in our own communities, and being able to stick together and push through this really horrible time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, or if anything else, like I know Vore Day, it like started like 1 or 2 years ago. It's only grown since then. I'm already thinking about next year. I'm like, oh boy, we could have a huge stream next year or something like
24-hour stream. Let's go.
Oh god.
Let's go drag every single, like, not just artists. You bring out also like, well, I would say that I don't like saying personalities, but the people, not just the people that draw, but also the people that are just everywhere in this stuff. Like people that commissioned so much art that they have become famous by
I mean,
their own
I've
way.
only commissioned
Don't.
around 15,000.
He
Oh,
has,
well,
and
there
that's
you
not
go.
even an exaggeration. I'm fucking serious.
Well,
That's about where it's at right now.
well, there you go.
Yeah. He inflates the economy for artists very well.
Well, actually, it's like I think between 6 artists have gotten like at least $3,000 from me each.
Jeez. I'm over here being like a poor musician. I'm like, I don't think I've ever had $3,000 in my bank
gosh.
account.
See, I've always wanted to do more of music and being a musician because I do a lot of music. Also, just a heads up, I'm going to give kudos to the 3 people that just donated. Forgot the
Oh, you're
word for a
gonna
second.
steal it from me, huh?
What?
Steal it, aren't you? I was
Yeah,
waiting to talk about.
because you took too long, and so I'm gonna steal it.
No,
So
okay,
I
fine.
got,
You go ahead.
yeah, I know. So anyway, I got Rough Lick here, my bro, my pal, because I know him, so he's cool. And he put $20, more money to doctors. So that's real nice.
He is pretty cool. I think I've got
And-
an art with him too.
And by the way, nerd.
Yes, me. And
Okay, I'm gonna call you Red, but just like Jeschke.
well,
right?
just so people don't get confused, I guess.
Well, because I mentioned you because in the comment it shows that Roughlick was influenced by your art a lot.
Aw,
So you've influenced his Vore palette. So thanks so much for the good arts.
I'm honestly very flattered.
Moo is here saying I love Vore for $20.
No, it's
then-
Moo is my username. Is his
I couldn't
username?
see that part because it said Moo is my, and my screen is too short. So shut
Moo's
the fuck
my-
up.
Hover your mouse over it; it'll give you the full name. But yeah,
Holy shit. I just learned. Okay, I'm excited. This
Yeah.
one's just anonymous though, and $20 and says Happy 4-Day 2020, which is cute. All right, now you can continue. So I just stole it. I just really wanted to steal it. It was really fun.
yeah.
I'm good now.
Okay, so the next question that you can both just answer real quick is like, how long have you been in the fandom / creating work? And Crunchy, why don't you go first?
Okay, I started drawing Vore in 2013 because I didn't see any of the Vore that I liked that people drew, and because no one was drawing it, and I was like, well, that fucking sucks. So then I learned how to draw furry art so I can draw it myself, and been
Yeah,
doing that since 2013, so 7 years.
yeah. Well, a lot of art comes from just not having it around. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just like, gosh, I can't wait for people to draw it this long, so I just decided to do it myself.
Yeah, it's just because it's what gets a little hard when it comes to like niche scenarios because
know.
you will not see it
I
except
know.
if you start. And what's great though is that you can be the one person that starts it.
I
and
did
then
actually
a bunch of people-
influence. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did influence a lot of people with it, so I felt kind of cool, but I was also kind of nervous because it
well,
means a
because
lot of
you're
people
like
know me.
you're the epicenter of that niche in particular. So then
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Where did you get that from?" That
Yeah, I
dude.
was at MFF, and then someone at it didn't even know. They were like, "Hey, you're Sableye on FA, right?" And I was like, "They're like, oh, I love your, I follow you, I love your art." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
That's
So,
feeling.
it was yeah.
Well, as for me, actually, I got in this. I started at some point on DeviantArt, but I think very shortly after someone was like, "Hey, you draw this stuff, so go here," and they introduced me to Furfinity, which I
Oh yeah.
started. My old account is from June 19th, 2011. Um,
Oh.
yeah, I've been on for almost a decade here. Um,
Yeah,
and
it's like you're pretty close to like when I started coming around then, which is like I started talking to people in like 2010.
oh man, yeah, like I remember my very first submissions. I initially started with just traditional art, which actually now that I go back, like there was not too much of art first, and then suddenly like, oh, that's a big mouth, and then oh, that's a belly, and then just just piles up, and then started going further and further. Um, for a while, I've been doing pretty much just that, but eventually, I kind of I felt like I wanted to do more things. I'm still very into this stuff. I like drawing this stuff, but I've branched out to so many things. At the same time, I made a new account which was Red Noodle Link. My previous one was the most
I
16
love
years
it.
old name
I love
I
it.
could have
I
ever
remember it.
found.
I fucking love
Slime
it.
Slime Dragon 1995.
I
It's
love when
the
people
Oh
put their
worst.
no.
birthdays in their username, their birth years.
It's the one thing that it's another big reason why I made a new account is I was
Yeah,
like, I hate this because
yeah.
because I looked at all the big artists that I followed and everyone just had a name with no number. And I was like, this is gonna be me. This is gonna be me and like now. So I made a new account. And I was really worried that the shift would have barely anyone coming, but no, that these were
Uh,
floodgates that just
I was
didn't.
so great when I was so relieved when you changed your name. It was so nice to see.
My name was frustrating.
Yeah, it's like whenever I named myself Neo Geo 2003-5. I never tell anyone that because it's really embarrassing. It was my
But
Neopets account.
but you just said it.
I know, and yeah. Don't You'll forget it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I won't forget it. Well, I
Yeah,
might
you'll
forget
forget it.
it. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna say
We'll
like what my old usernames were because like one of them was definitely just my name 3 times because I wanted to like look at furry stuff, but like not actually have an account that anyone would ever care about.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me something. You want me to tell you something really goofy that I've done
Oh,
with that old
totally.
account. So I remember at that time it was when really no one in my family knew anything about this and everything. And I was just at some point I went to that a shop where basically you can make your own you can make your own cap. Like it's called Lids. It's a shop that you can get like a
Oh,
logo. You can
yeah.
give them a logo and have it on a cap or something. And I was like, and my parents were like, "Oh my god, you should like do your logo on the cap and everything." I have this
Oh.
cap and it's so I hate it. I cannot
Oh.
wear
Oh
this
goodness.
anymore. But it's basically a time capsule object at this point because it just has this logo I've never used. This cap that honestly I feel almost ashamed of wearing. Not just because the name is bad, but also I'm not gonna wear my own merch. It's just weird.
Do it.
I
Be embarrassing. It's
I
fun.
it's like, look at me. It's my old account. I'm wearing my own name on myself, and
It's
no
an
I mean,
one
you
important
knows.
advertisement.
you gotta have
But
something identifying about like your look.
What you need to do also is you need to be a Twitch streamer, and then so when you have that logo, people know who you are,
I
and
will
people associate that.
become
Make
I
merch.
will
You
become
know,
an
it's like,
influencer.
yeah, exactly. Become an influencer. Do it.
I hate this term so much.
Be a YouTube. Be a Twitch influencer.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I mean, I last time I did try to stream games on Twitch. I want to try a little bit because it's fun, but when I started
Do
with
it with
like,
me.
oh,
Yeah, we get it's good. It's good to have someone that you can like bounce back and forth with, you know? That's the
yeah,
problem that a lot of people have. And then whenever I do it alone, I have fucking no idea what to say. And so I get really awkward. But,
because the thing
you know,
is, I'm
yeah.
told by a lot of people that I often have a lot of energy. I have a lot of how could I say I do voices and I explode with a bunch of shit all the time. But
Yeah.
if the person with me, if I have no one, it's hard. I'm just quiet, and I just don't know what to talk about.
Oh yeah. Yeah, being able
Yeah.
to bounce stuff off of another person is always great because like a lot of the work that I make as far as Vore stuff goes, it's like if I don't have somebody to tease with it, then like there's absolutely no motivation to do it,
Right?
like
Yeah.
at all.
I mean,
And then-
like that's a fun thing because if it's not like a commission or something or a trade, that's something especially asks you for. What is great is just being fueled by your friend, just being like, "Oh shit, this is good," and you're like, "You're fucked." You're so fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know. It's good to have someone to bounce stuff off of for sure. I mean, like I know that I would feel a lot more comfortable playing a game and just kind of fucking around, and that's what it's for, just
Hell
having
yeah.
fun. And then it's like, same with podcasting. I've always wanted to try to get a little more into podcasting because I'm very opinionated. I'm very I love to talk and discuss and teach about stuff, but it's like, I never know who to talk to about it, never know who to go to. Like I feel like, oh man, I can't do this alone. Like that would be just really awkward. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, not to interrupt, but we have some more donations, and I'm taking it this
I let you.
time.
I saw them, but I let you do them. I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's here. I'll give it this. I'll give it this.
Well,
to you.
we've got $20 from New Brat, and then Timber donates another $20, which I mean technically puts him up to donating $100. Like,
Oh, nice.
jeez, Timber,
Yeah.
you're like funding this entire thing by yourself. But he says, "Congrats, folks! You raised $400 for charity in the name of being horny Vore degenerates." It's like, yep,
He
we sure did.
basically
mean-
donated a fourth of the amount that we have. So
And
Yeah.
sure as hell, just the
Yeah,
idea of getting
And now we've
money.
reached 420.
Yeah.
Oh no,
it is at 420.
it's the meme number.
And I guess
Yeah.
you're the most degenerate of all. Donating $100 to a horny Vore stream.
Oh
So,
Yeah,
shit.
geez. There were people
Yeah.
like digesting in the art on here, and you were donating money like
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Jealous.
Next question.
yeah, okay. Next question I was gonna ask. Like, you were talking a little bit about like your specific niche or the thing that you liked to make.
Oh
So
shit.
to both of you, like what would you say is your main focus or like the niche that you go for? Like typical Prez, Prey, like type of war, like
Tell us all about it, Crunchy.
Fuck you, audience. Okay.
I mean, do
Piece
you
of
want me
shit.
to go first this time, or do you
Yeah,
wanna-
go first. Go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ham.
Well, for starters, I mean, I might sound boring, but I don't have a Vore niche in particular because I kind of go with anything almost.
Well, like I would say,
The-
like you have some fats on screen. Like, do you draw a lot of fats as well as
I do.
Vore?
I do like some round. I mean, I do draw inflation. I do draw pool toys, balloons. I do
some
draw
good
rubber, I
tons.
do draw TFs. I draw, like I said earlier, I do draw a lot of things. But for Vore, yeah, I mean, I usually like more rotund. Rotund. By the way,
Rotund.
I speak French, so
It's
if
cute. I
there's
know. I
any-
love it.
if there's
Every
anything that
time.
sounds weird, that's the reason.
When we
Just
met
so
at
you know.
MFF, it was so fucking cute. I just gotta say.
So yeah, rotund preds are usually very fun. I tend to focus a lot on the post-war, a lot more, because that's kind of the part I think is the most fun.
Like, are you
Um,
talking post digestion or like are we getting into
just-
disposal territory?
No.
Okay, so
no, I'm
post
not.
digestion.
Well, post digestion or just in, because I consider just in the belly as the post-war and the
Oh, okay.
happening the mid-war. But yeah, usually that's what I like. Going to that other thing you thought, just saying, I usually really hate when it goes in that territory. Personally, I cannot for myself enjoy this.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Neither skulls personally. Like as soon as there's bones, I'm just like, I'm out, baby. That and usually, yeah. I mean, I don't have like one specific Vore in particular that I like, unlike Crunchy, who go for it.
Yeah, well, actually, before you go, Crunchy, Forrest popped in
Oh,
here with
shit.
$100 donation.
Oh
like,
shit!
first off, Forrest, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. But also, Jesus, like, thank you so
Wow.
much.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
no
I'm not the
shit.
one getting the money, but like, still, thank you for donating to a cause like
Don't-
that.
Yeah, that's the best part of it. It's,
Like,
it
part of me
feels so
wonders
good.
if we hit 420, then like maybe we'll hit 690. Like, we'll just go for all the trash numbers.
Yeah.
It's like after 690, we'll go
say
for like 9.
8008, you know?
But that means
Yeah.
noob.
Or
Yeah, or I was gonna say like 9001 because that's an old meme.
God, fucking 2004, maybe I think even before that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, no, thanks for coming in and like donating that much. That's really incredible. Anyway, Crunchy, what's your niche? What's your thing?
Oh God, I hate you so fucking much.
Tell us, Crunchy.
I'll go into it. I'm legitimately curious because
I'm always really self-conscious. The reason why I was talking about how, like, inclusive I feel sometimes in this kind of community is because, like, the kind of Vore that I draw is definitely weird. It's definitely unconventional, and it's like, I've had my art posted on those kink shaming websites, and I've always been kind of really self-conscious about it ever since. But
Mhm.
being in this community and kind of being more kind of involved in it and seeing how accepting people can be, like, it's made me feel a little better. I'm still kind of reluctant to post things like that, so I draw, but I don't really post my art as much. But um oh gosh. Saying this
if you
sounds
aren't gonna
weird.
say it, then I'll say it.
You know okay, well, I like Nate. Okay, it's hard for me to say.
I can say it.
I can feel you with that, honestly. Just there
Yeah.
are times that sometimes even I'm just like,
Yeah, it's
"Mm."
just it's
I
very
mean,
uncommon. It's like nasal vor. Like nasal vor is just like hardly much of a thing, but it
See,
comes up
so I
every
mean,
once
it's
in a while.
basically close to that. It's
even with
just with a
normal
V.
war, I feel a lot of shame about it. So like,
Yeah, I like naval war a lot, so that's the
Crunchy, you're a
yeah.
wonderful person.
Shut the fuck up, you little bitch ass baby. Anyway, so it's that's why it was very niche, and I never saw it, and it was like I wanted to see it, but I never saw it. So I was like, I guess I gotta draw it. I've been drawing before the whole Vore thing for ever since I was like 8. My mom was a freelance artist for a while. Now she's an architect, not an actual building. She and so I learned a lot of art from her. I learned I drew humans, I drew people a lot, and kind of like I started to move into more surreal stuff until eventually I was like, I really wanna get some move into the furry art aspect of it, because again there was that kind of stuff that I realized when when I was just getting out of high school. I was like, I don't know what it's called, but I really like it, and it ended up being called furry art. So it, it was in being a furry. So I kind of delved more into that, and then I tried to I learned kind of more of the terminology of the things I was looking for and the things I liked. But in regards to naval war, I never really saw it anywhere except for like very, very few pieces. And it was like, sometimes it'd be over sexualized in a way that it's like, I'm not a sexual person. I really don't like, I'm just really not into that because it does make me feel a little uncomfortable, but not in a way that it's like I can't view other people's art or like other people's interests, because again, still, I I appreciate like others' interests. I like looking at them, and I like learning about them, and it's always interesting to learn about what makes them happy. So it makes them happy. I'm not uncomfortable. But if it's something that I'm trying to look for that I like specifically, it's just something that I'm not like, I guess uncomfortable wasn't a word that I was looking for. It was more like, it's just something I'm not looking for. So that's when I decided to, I'm just gonna learn furry art, and I'm gonna learn how to draw it myself. And then I did. So that's
Yeah.
basically
And now you've got your own nice little niche,
yeah. And then so
inside
there were
of
a lot
Belly.
of people. Yeah.
It's
so so
had-
a
it-
lot of a lot of people, like, they'll come to me and be like, I got into this, or I started drawing stuff like this because I was inspired by your work, and it makes me feel pretty good. Like, I've had that side of it, and then I've had the side, of course, again, like I mentioned, where my art was posted on kink shaming websites. And I kind of got, at first it hurt a lot to see stuff like that, but then as I grew up a little more, and as I started to kind of define my interests, I was like, you know what, like, they can do whatever the fuck they want, they can talk about whatever the fuck they want,
Yeah.
but like, I have my community and I have my friends who appreciate, or who at least understand that that's something I like, and they're accepting of it, and that's what makes me feel good, and that's what makes me appreciate the Vore community.
Isn't
Is
that just a
that
great feeling?
Is it
Yeah.
what like
So, I mean, so you whispered it just a little while ago, and it's nice to something that you're so embarrassed about that you have to whisper it, that you can just go somewhere and be surrounded by people that accept and you know think it's okay to like those things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean that's why it made me feel a little more comfortable being myself. Like I was saying, how the furry community helped me come out, to saying like, hey, I'm gay, and I feel okay about that, and like I feel like I don't have to abide by these cultural social norms that people are placing on me, or people are placing on others, and saying being gay is not okay. And like especially when I lived in Texas, I mean even now when it's federally legal, they're still fighting to make it not legal in Texas. And that was always, it was always kind of hard to, it felt uncomfortable to be around that. But when I'm online and I'm talking to you guys, and I'm talking to my in my server, or I'm talking on just anywhere pretty much that involves the furry community, the Vore community, like I feel comfortable. Like it makes me feel good, and I don't have to worry about people who just don't accept me just because they don't understand, or they just feel the need to bring someone down, or bring the negativity for absolutely no reason, in a world that we already suffer in, for all these decisions that people make that we none of us agree with. That it's just good to find an escape, and find a way to, I don't know, be comfortable. So
Yeah. It's like it feels like way too much like double entendre to be like have your own safe space. Like my mind immediately goes have your own safe space inside a stomach to, gurgle or whatever.
yeah,
But it's just, it's nice that like we just have our own space to do all this Vor stuff and explore all that, everything. Yeah.
I mean, I consider that a lot of these topics, whether it's Vore or any other kinks that we draw in the fandom, is like, in my mind, I'm like, if it doesn't hurt anyone, what is the issue? Why are you complaining that we enjoy this thing? It's all fantasy for like most of the time. It's not like we're gonna go jump into someone and just be like, yeah, I want to get eat for real. Like, no one will in their mind will be like, yeah, I'm gonna go get that alligator and go get eaten right now. Because
Yeah.
you know what will happen if you do that.
can't
Yeah.
enjoy any more Vore on the internet.
Yeah, it is at least nice that it's a very unrealistic fetish because, like, I mean, the one time there was like that one TV show that's like, this guy's gonna get
Eaten
eaten alive by
alive.
a snake. And then, like, nothing happened, and people are like,
Because he
you're
got
hurting
too
that
scared.
snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that's no. And then, yeah, it's like that's the closest there's been.
Like, I mean, there are people that do make it like a simulation with like suits and stuff like that, or even just VR in general. Like,
Yeah.
again, it is just playing around with like fake things and just having the it's really just having the sensation or the thought of it without being it like an actual thing going on. But it's like same with like TF, like people will like shit on people for enjoying it, and it's like, do you really think they're just gonna be able to do that anyway? It's just their thing. Leave them that.
Yeah. Like, are you saying that you're literally able to transform someone into a lamp? Like that
Well, I'm working
what?
on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, the not just the internet culture, but a lot of the world in general is very focused uh in general on like shaming others on anything that is not their thing. If it's different, it's weird. It's like, no, it's not necessarily. You could be doing something much weirder than than this person you're judging.
Yeah. It's like at some point things are just gonna like keep what's the word? It
Escalating.
I guess like at some point it would be like, oh, furry was immediately the cringe thing, but now furry's more accepted. And then it would be like, oh, but there's furries, but the Vore people, they're really weird. Now it's just like Vore's just
Now we're
becoming a
trending on
meme.
Twitter.
Yeah, now we're trending on
True.
Twitter, so it's like, oh, okay.
That's what
Well,
it's saying. It's very mainstream.
yeah.
With
Well,
with that said,
Earvore is
though, I
gonna
do
be the
have to
weird thing.
go.
What's that?
Yeah.
With that said, I do have to go for now. It was lovely
Okay.
speaking
Well,
with you guys.
it was
though.
nice
Oh,
for you being here.
yeah, goodbye, Amius.
Yeah,
Or are
it
you
was
going
nice.
out too, Crunchy?
No, no, I'm still
Oh,
around
okay.
until it's over.
Yeah,
Good night.
See you
Amius
guys.
is heading off.
Oh,
See ya.
see ya.
Later, skater. He's
But
playing
as I was
some
saying,
D&D.
yeah, he's going off to play D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's gonna just be like nasal Vore is gonna be the next huge like oh, the Vore people are fine, but then there's the nasal Vore crowd,
It's
and
but
then after that it's gonna be like oh, the person that likes pink noses is the weird ones. It's like yeah,
it's as soon as people find it, it's literally just getting bullied in general. It's just people find one thing they're like, yeah, let's give them threats and stuff and say that they're dumb for enjoying a thing, and it's like, yeah, it's different, it's odd. We agree on that. Like, I'm I'm not saying that Vor is usual whatsoever, but
Yeah.
you can let people have their weird things.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
or
Like
if there's like
I
stuff.
I did get a lot of hurtful comments about my stuff, back in the day,
Mhm.
like 3 years ago, I think. But I mean, it's again, I got used to it, and it's like I don't fucking give a shit. You can say whatever the fuck you
Yeah,
want because
'cause
I
a
know it's weird.
after a while, you gotta expect that this will happen, and after a while, you're just like, "Alright, what does it change in my life that you told me that
Yeah, it's
now?
like
What
I'm
does it
so
change in
sorry
yours?"
that you feel that way.
I'm so
Just-
no, 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 you know what? All you gotta say the next time is, "I live rent free in your head." There you go.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Thank
good.
you for giving me this apartment.
or like actually Washington News says foot fetishism is already so known that's basically accepted and Vore will reach that point probably. And I'm like, yeah. And then my mind immediately goes to like some bad CSI episode or something where it's like, oh, this person's a vorophile, and they're just like, hey, check out my throat, like to complete strangers or
It's like,
something.
that's not how it works.
No, I mean there already
Well,
has been a CSI 4 episode, but I
oh,
mean like
no.
they're gonna like casually represent them in a really wrong way or something.
But I mean, like, it's because again, when people represent them in these ways, like, we can't. I mean, personally, if I recall, like, there can be people like this. There can be, and there is people that make it worse sometimes
Yeah,
in some cases,
that's
but
just
they're
not
not
the
the
most of them.
majority. Yeah, it's not the
Yeah,
majority, but as soon as one case is here, it's like this entire group, they're like this. That's what they do.
yeah. It's just like one more step on the way to where like people are just like accept and then disregard it is like the hey, look at the really weird example of this or whatnot.
I was just brought up by my friend Pagan. We just watched a movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino last night. I love that movie, by the way. But we're just mainly in regards to the whole like kind of disregarding like how like a fetish of some sort. Like he puts like his obvious foot fetish in literally like every movie that he has.
Oh yeah, there's been so many jokes about
Well, yeah,
that. Like
and like a bunch of like really big creators from either just YouTube or just like people that made cartoons of your childhood and shit like that.
Oh, oh, thank
You
God.
end up realizing that, oh, they were into this, they were into that. Like, was it the guy who made Astro Boy that ended up like they found transformation
Yes.
drawings in
Yes.
their drawers?
Yes. The
And
father of anime.
yeah, that or Rebecca Sugar who did Ed and Eddie Smut apparently, which it's
Really?
yeah,
Huh.
apparently that's a thing. And But again, like, there's people that just do it. Like, not everyone is not everyone's gonna yell it on the rooftop of their home because why would you don't have to do that. But if someone finds out, it's like, well, good job, you found what I do.
Yeah, congratulations. Get over it.
Oh yeah. Like I can remember when furries was like my dad worked with a lot of tech people and they were like, "Oh, there's someone who like works out in this office like on the East Coast and like oh, they found out it was a furry and like don't be a furry, like everybody hates them." And now if you were to say that to me nowadays, it'd be like, "Yeah, no, like people don't care about furries."
It's
Like it's completely just like its own weird thing.
yeah, because I mean, like, I have like a bunch of local friends who I ended up telling them what I do and all that. And I mean, aside of like some jokes from time that even I toss around just for fun of just being like, the usual like not self-loathing, but you know what I mean, just like fucking around being like, oh wow, I'm such furry trash, I know, right? And but pretty much every of my friends that are close to me are just like they're like, oh, okay, that's weird, but I understand it. It's like, boom, there you go. That's all I need. If you
Yeah.
can't understand it, that's the minimum I desire, really.
Yeah, or you don't even have to understand it, just know that it's harmless.
Yeah,
Like, and it's like not some horrible thing. It's just like, eh,
yeah. No, I'm definitely cannibal that's eating people in my house.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Osamu Tezuka. That was the name of the guy.
There it
Sorry,
is.
someone just posted it, and I was like, oh wait, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've probably got like time for maybe like one more question. I don't know, maybe I'll try and like get this in a two-parter sort of thing. But like to start off, like what do you like about Vore? Like what's the appeal of it to you? Like the specific thing that you go for with it? I know that's a really broad question, so yeah,
Yeah.
like for me, there's just so many different ways to take it. Like if I'm gonna be a really horrible, or if I really want to like meet a bad end, there's that. Or it could be like someone gaining weight as a result from of eating someone, or like there's some creators that will like I think of like Scott Calico's work where like he has a specific way of going about digestion where someone doesn't digest until they're like physically worn out by the belly,
Yeah.
like that sort of thing. Like what's the appeal of it to you? Is it like the squishy walls, or is it like the pred satisfaction, or is it like the belly?
Hmm. Um. Oh man. Like, I mean, yeah. Like, well, it kind of brings back to earlier what I was saying. Like, I usually like the being in there part of it. Just I tend to like one recurring theme I would say with a lot of stuff I draw is enjoying being stuck, just
Oh,
stuck there.
like being
Like,
stuck in the belly sort of thing?
yeah, just
Yeah.
either it's with Vore or like even some other topics. Like, it tends to be like that way. Like, it's nice the idea of just being like smushed, I guess you
Yeah.
could say.
Like, do you
But
also like if someone smooshes a belly on you, like from the
oh
outside?
yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
this
so
is
it's
the
like
theme
the
in
same
general.
sort of thing, but it's all around, right?
Yeah, and in general, I do like a more um I'd say my favorite is usually when it gets a little either romantic side of things or the other spectrum of just not just food, because that part is just more dark at this
Like
point.
in control.
Sort of, yeah. Where it's just like it's either a very dummy idea or something that's just more casual between the two. And just like,
Yeah, like casual power play sort of thing,
yeah,
or just like friendly bullying.
exactly, actually.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I
usually
totally get that. Yeah. And then how about for you, Crunchy?
Well, okay, so I view Vore as, I appreciate the endo aspect of it.
It's great.
What?
It's great.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, to me, I feel like it kind of like like a kind of sort of all around hug, because I like being very close and personal with my friends. And, that's what makes me feel happy and makes me feel comfortable, like I've mentioned many times already. But I mean, basically, that it's just like it's a way for me to feel safe, and I really appreciate that, and that's what makes me feel happy coming talking to my friends, and being able to be so open about what I like and being able to do stuff with my friends in that way, and it helps me kind of form more of a more familial connection to them in a way, I guess. uh I've always kind of been very distant from a lot of my family, so it's kind of I view my friends a lot more as family, and so whenever I'm close, I just kind of it's a more intimate relationship that makes me feel safe. So
I get you, yeah.
what?
I mean, like I said, like at the very beginning of all this, I was like, well, if I'm ever feeling like touch starved or like really just wanting to get comfy with people, then like Vore is really good at that. It's just like, hey, I'm just gonna cuddle up to a belly and then I'm gonna go inside the belly. Hot dang.
Yeah,
Like, there you
right.
go.
Oh my
Feels so much
gosh,
better now.
right. And
Yeah.
also I like soft fluffy things, so
That's
uh,
also very fair.
yeah.
That's the main attraction of being a furry, is being like, I'm a fluffy pillow. Oh
But
yeah.
you know what? At the same time, I like scalies a lot.
Oh yeah.
And like,
Scalies are also
because
really good.
yeah, I love smooth. And so it's all good. Yeah, I just like the whole furry aspect. Uh, there's not much I don't think I dislike about it, really.
Yeah, I think it's just like a nice way of like separating it enough from reality that like you can just start to explore things
Yeah,
and
and
like
then I just
just kind
can
of
be close,
loosen up reality a bit and have some fun.
and you'd be close to my friends that I care a lot about. So
Yeah. Let's see. I was gonna ask like, how does that factor into your work? But I suppose the answer is kind of obvious because you both probably include both of those things in your work.
pretty
Like,
much.
like right
Yeah.
now, Red, you've got like the bellies going on and people being eaten, and then like
Mhm.
if you were to look at Crunchy's art, then like a lot of it is like being in the belly and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
exactly. It's like it's just kind of silly, like just kind of cartoony furry stuff, and it's just fun, and that's it.
Yeah,
That's all there is to it, really. Like people ask for these long, crazy explanations, like "Why do you like this?" And it's like because I do.
It just
That's
just is the case. That's
it's yeah. There's not much more to it. I'm sorry if you expected some crazy long explanation as to like where it started and where it began, but I just I just like it.
oh
I'm not
yeah,
gonna.
like over the years I've like gotten some psychological explanations for things, but even those are like just kind of like broad, like surface level sort of
Yeah,
things.
they don't fucking know what liking boar is like.
No, it's
Just it's
just like
nuts.
some answers that can kind of make
Yeah,
sense to other people
yeah.
or like explain it a little bit.
But all they need to know basically is that it we just do. We just like it. It's just like whatever they like. They like it because they just do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Like it's just something that we enjoy, and
Yeah.
that's it.
And then like on that note, the next question I was going to ask is like who or what would you say are some influences on your work, or is there like anybody that you ran across that was like formative in your like, I don't want to say understanding, but like figuring out what you like about Vore?
Okay, it's gonna be really embarrassing. But
Uh-oh.
no, it's just that Red here is one of the ones that kind of really made me. Yeah,
Oh
Ah, hey,
man.
I never really told you that specifically, but
it's okay. Well,
yeah,
now is the time, I guess.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, I remember seeing your art, and I was like, no, I saw you draw what I liked like one time, and I was like, this must be a cool person. So I started talking to you, and I was like, I really like talking to you, and it was really fun drawing with you, and it got me a lot more into the community, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, and then that, and like I'm sure you know Wild Side.
Oh yeah, of
Oh
course.
yeah.
Yeah, I met him. I don't remember exactly how, but then eventually we met at MFF, and so we're MFF pals. We hang out a lot, and he's cool. And I enjoy talking to him too. And it's like he's one of my influences as well. Um, but pretty much it's just it's just like the friends that I have are the ones that inspire me, or have always inspired me to kind of get more into the community.
Oh yeah, I totally get that. And Red, anybody for you or anything?
Um. Well, already there. One aside of like some friends that gave me advice. There's obviously the the major I went to do in college did help a lot improving the general art, not just the vor, not necessarily the vor part, but just improving on my art since learning animation is basically drawing every single day. And you have to, you can't just slack on it. You have to. So it kind of kicks the gears in a lot. But for some people, I get for some people that have got me more into tricks on how to do things and all that, I guess one of them that I followed quite a lot was Puka Puka. There
Oh
was
yeah.
Yeah.
obviously Nick Wolf for the more cartoon things, which is just stellar. But I mean, at this point, I would be surprised who wouldn't know Nick Wolf at this point.
I remember you're so excited at MFF to hang out with them. Yeah.
It's just
It's
it
cute.
was
It's really,
it's MFF. That first MFF was just insane for thinking how
yeah.
many people I was gonna see.
Yeah, it was really
Just
cute. And yeah, you were really cute.
I'm trying to think of other artists because I mean I could just say that almost every artist that I've stumbled upon helped a lot. Um, but for Vore specifically, I mean, the first one that I stumbled upon that actually helped me grow when I started was also Corey. Corey Zadori was also,
Oh yeah.
uh, I think they go by just Zadori now, but they were the first person I've ever done a trade with, and that was such a stellar moment. Um, and I did take a lot of inspiration from them in some places to figure out how to do some shots and whatever. Um, but yeah, like there's a handful more, but I mean I would be here a while if I were listing everyone.
Oh yeah. It's like if
Yeah.
if someone were to ask me my favorite artist, it's like, well, what mood am I in right at the moment? Because like,
It's honestly whenever someone asks me what is your favorite anything, I'm just how do you want me to figure out one thing
Ooh,
out of all of this?
time to write down these notes to remember what to talk to you about later on.
Wait,
Yeah, sorry.
hmm.
It's gonna happen. Gonna be as broad and general as I can.
Oh
So have fun with
no.
that.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
It looks like though we are going to be stopping the stream shortly.
well, yeah. I mean, like, I think that's a good enough note to end off on that whole discussion. I'm
Yeah.
like, part of me wants to open up like questions to the audience, but also we've been streaming for a good few hours now.
Yeah.
Uh
Well,
yeah,
up
it's
to
like
you.
it's about okay, well let's like open up quick for if anybody has random questions about anything we've talked about. Like Broccoli said, do you think it's true that no, among people who aren't into divorce, younger people are more accepting? They're probably more accepting just because they heard of it as a meme at one point.
That's
Mhm.
that's the thing. I know I've seen a lot of people who are a lot younger who just like the very if they like Vore, they like the very, very basic Vore. And then they're very kind of I've seen a lot more of them that are not very accepting towards them, but at the same time, I understand because it's very new to them. I mean, they're a lot younger,
I would
and
imagine it's a very good kink to like branch out from. Also, I'm talking like yeah, like people that are not in school. Like but yeah, since it's so varied and it can just go all sorts of places and it's like just weird enough. It's like it's probably a really good starting point for like people discovering like not necessarily sexualities, but just like branching out and being like, hey, let's try some weird stuff out. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
So
really see any other questions coming up just
yeah,
yet.
I know it's super delayed, so
Yeah, there's that.
we can give it just a tiny bit more, and then see if anyone else asks any questions in like the next 3 minutes, and if not, then that should be it probably.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have
But
any other pressing questions of my own or anything. Like,
yeah,
we've covered most of what I would have asked about.
yeah, and we were able to squish our answers together. Red and I, Nerd and I, Mark and I, Drax.
Squoosh those questions.
Yeah, squoosh those questions
Squish
together.
those questions like you're getting squished in a belly together.
Oh man, you're gonna do that?
Oh goodness, no, I wouldn't dare do something like that.
Golly.
Oh.
Yeah, even on my end, like I am reaching even my kind of my end of my own stream as like I've been how long have I been streaming for?
A
I've been streaming
while.
for basically 7 hours
Yeah,
today.
I saw like
Oh
Maybe
at
dear.
11
maybe
11 a.m.
maybe more 6 because I took about that much time or maybe 45 minutes to eat. But yeah, uh that's not the longest stream I've done though. I've done a stream once that was 12 hours. I
Okay,
don't know why
Goodness.
I've done that.
I, s- I see I see a question here. And before you realized you were into Vore, how did you respond to Vore situations in media?
Generally just being like I would fixate on it and have no idea why, and that's pretty much it.
Exactly. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
I remember being really young and seeing just kind of seeing it, or like seeing some type of it wouldn't be exactly Vor, but it would just kind of relate to that in some way, and I would feel like I would definitely fixate on that, and I would start to fantasize about like these little things that would happen, and it was never sexual, of course, because I was like what 4, 3, but it was definitely something that I've always had an interest in. So, seeing it in media, I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't think that there was like people out there that felt the same way that I did. But so that's kind of how I responded to divorce situations in media. Like it was something that I was very interested in. Like it piqued my interest the moment I saw it, but I definitely felt like it was just something that was just only isolated to just me, I guess.
Yeah,
And
where
And
it's just
now,
like
rough flick, I was actually also thinking of that exact same scene probably about a week ago. Not gonna lie, so I'm just gonna say that. Okay, guys can continue.
yeah, now I'm going to be extremely boring. Before I realized it was into 4, did nothing for me. I was just like, oh, haha, funny gag, and that's it.
Oh man. I remember there would be actually like the scenes that I've rewatched a lot were not some of them were not Vor related. Like I remember there was one that I keep bringing back up to people being that one Pokemon movie with it had like a at the and it was like at the end segment of the movie that there was like this Groudon that they just summoned that just fucking consumes everything. And I was like, I like that part. And every time that movie came back on, I would just wait for that. I wouldn't care about the first part of the movie. I would not give a single fuck. And this scene appears, and I'm just like, wow. And same with there was, but in general, in anime is like probably the medium that is the less shy about this stuff.
I feel like I've seen that over time too. Yeah.
Like, oh, I remember Naruto was airing on Teletoon when I was watching at some point. There's literally a scene where he gets eaten by a snake, and there's just this long ass segment where you see him inside a snake and just whine about shit and just say, "Oh no, I'm gonna die here" and all that. And I just look at him like, this scene is nice.
It's like, wow, you're
Why?
complaining about that?
It's just like it's, and you never know. You do not know why you like it, and eventually I've made a I made myself a little YouTube account and I started piling Vore scenes, absorption scenes, and on a little playlist, and I would watch them from time to time, and eventually I would finally realize, oh, fuck, I like it for a reason.
Yeah. It's really crazy you can come across this stuff. I mean, like I said, I was just like Googling like anaconda swallows blank or like crocodile eats blank or whatnot. And like eventually, like way back in the Google searches, I found someone's Vor art website and like found out what Vor was because of that.
And along with that, there's also there was my big pet peeve that will always be here, that was always here in the past wherever I would see, because when you go on YouTube and try to find vor scenes and stuff like that, it's always humans everywhere, everywhere, and every
Yeah.
time like,
Yeah.
wow, this is a big turn off, baby. I don't want that. Like, I know it's some other people's cup of tea, but it's not mine. It never worked with me. Whenever, like, Prey already there, I'm just nah. I prefer anthro characters. When it's Pred, it's even more nah for me. I don't
Yeah.
want it at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
That's just preferences for you.
oh yeah, that is my more subjective part of it, because I mean, again, everyone can like whatever they want on this topic. It's just personally, as a Vorfer, it's just I need my furs in the Vor thing.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
I'm
looks
like,
like that's it.
yeah, I think on that note, it looks like we're all done for the night. Are you gonna keep streaming Red at all?
Well, right now I'm about to basically finish, since it's been a good time, and I think
Yeah.
four pictures settles it pretty well, especially with the amount of characters in some of them.
Yeah. Well, in that case, we won't point people towards your Picardo because you're about to end.
Yeah,
We were like, oh, we'll all head over there and hang out after we close up, and then it's like, oh, you've been streaming like twice as long as we have.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's I have an urge to either relax or just play video games for the rest of that night.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you. But